All right, and we're back. This is the Cheech and Manny show. We have our returning guest, Mr. Joe Silkman, back on. This time, not this. Wait, Cheech, remind me, is this a Led Zeppelin episode or what is this?
No, believe it or not, this is our Bob Dylan Desire 1976 album
Yes,
that
sir.
Joe, I think, had mentioned to us early on about doing this one, you know, and we were both really not like that familiar with it like the other ones. I know I wasn't, so I really got into it.
Yeah, same here. I'll be honest with you. The only song I knew from that album, it was Hurricane because that's like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
that's the classic rock, song that every classic rock station that I know of or any rock classic rock always mentions it. So I really and actually the only other song I remember is also Sarah for
yeah.
some odd reason. But I have to say I think thanks to Joe, he was the one that said his Desire was his favorite album, Joe, right? Am I wrong or right?
Well, I'm going to say something controversial. I think this is Bob Dylan's Zeppelin 4.
Yes, that's what you said on
What
the phone. Yeah,
Now, the
what
funny part is it's Bob Dylan's 17th album, and of course, Zeppelin 4 was Zeppelin's fourth album, but it's that good. Listening to it over and over again, as I have, I never get tired of it. It's very good.
yeah,
Oh, and Mozambique is the song that I recall as being in heavy rotation on the radio stations because it was a 3-minute song. It's very catchy.
hmm
Other people say that they heard that it was Hurricane that was getting heavy airplay, but I don't think so. I don't think I heard Hurricane very often on the radio.
hmm.
But Mozambique was the single.
I will say for like, 'cause I obviously exposed to Bob Dylan way after. First one I know was Hurricane. That was just the song that off that album, and I never even bothered to listen to the rest. And I just stumbled upon Sarah because of Rolling Stone magazine. Like they were talking about the song Sarah. I was like, oh, all right, let me listen. All right, it's not bad. It's not bad.
yeah,
But I'll be honest with you, then I never revisited that album as much as like Bob Dylan's other albums. And I agree with you. I think Cheech and I texting and talking before, we said that Desire could be his maybe pinnacle. And I don't
yeah.
think since then he wasn't able to match it. And actually,
No.
we're gonna Cheech, I don't know if you have in your notes, a lot of these songs were co-written,
Yes.
which is an interesting
What's the guy? I mean, I have his name.
you
I got.
might, we'll go into it like
Yeah.
when we talk about it. And then
Me,
the other
me
thing
and Joe
too
were
that's
just talking
interesting is
about
a
that.
duet with Emmylou Harris.
And when we get to it, Joe has a very interesting story about the violinist.
Yeah, oh,
Pretty
that's the
amazing.
band. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the other interesting too, Joe, because this is the Rolling Thunder Review Band, which also the other way I was exposed to Bob Dylan was the video for Tangled Up in Blue,
Yeah.
where he dons white face paint, and I see him like I thought he was cool. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and he's wearing that
Yeah.
nice outfit hat. Um, but yeah, so it's interesting. Mozambique, you said was the one getting heavier radio play.
Mozambique.
Mozambique was, and I love that. Actually, that's one of my favorites now. So, and I
Yeah.
think this whole album is all killer. I will say I do have a controversial or hot take, and we'll get to it. But I think Joey's a good song. It's just too long. I wish he shortened it and
Yeah.
put another song in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
And
think it.
we were saying how I got Bruce Springsteen on the brain. I mean, and Ozzy, of course, but we were saying how New Jersey is probably a better song than Joey about the mafia.
Wait, which one?
New Jersey. Remember yesterday when we did
Oh, you talking about
Nebraska?
Atlantic City?
Oh yeah. Duh. Atlantic City. Yeah.
They blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last
Yeah,
night.
it's a little bit more
He's straight to the, it's
that
more, I feel like it's more
digestible.
relatable.
Yeah.
Joey's good. It's just that it's good. It's just it's too long. And I don't think,
When I say New Jersey, I'm thinking of the friggin' Bon Jovi album. New Jersey.
oh, the one with the gray and like,
Yeah.
that's a good album though. So,
Yeah. Bon Jovi's no joke. He
all
was
right.
like the heavy metal Bruce Springsteen.
His song, yeah, he was like Bon Jovi was the heavier version of Journey.
Yeah.
Where they actually had some street cred. Like, I
And
don't
he
think,
was another like we're talking about Bruce Springsteen yesterday in the 80s. He was another, if you were a true hardcore metalhead, listening to Maiden, Metallica, you would say, yeah, I like Bon Jovi's new single, but Runaway. But you would, that's it. Then you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, one of those things. A little too glammy for a lot of us hardcore Slayer and Megadeth guys. And
But fantastic. But okay, so let's begin with Desire and before
well, any shout outs for anything before we jump?
I'm good. Joe, any shout outs?
Oh yeah, yeah. I want to give a shout out to my wife Patty for talking me into getting tickets to see the Flaming Lips and Modest Mouse.
I saw that. That is a really good combo. And by the way, speaking of tickets in New Haven and like two great artists and bands, I saw Styx too. Like, gentlemen, they're fantastic.
Oh yeah. I saw Stick Shift. I saw Damn Yankees too years ago with Tommy
And
Shaw. Tommy Shaw was in the band.
Tommy Shaw's fantastic. Like he's playing
Unbelievable.
well, singing well, and I'll be honest with you, there was another guy playing. I would have to look up his name. You know Dennis DeYoung, right?
Yeah,
I feel like he's better than Dennis. Like
singer.
he
The singer
was
now.
he was really good.
I kind of could believe it because these guys today, like Joe always brings up, uh, John Anderson, from Yes.
Yeah,
He's got a backing band that's probably equal to how
yeah.
good Yes was on Fragile. So these people today are like AI machines, but they're people, and they can get that sound. It's amazing
Mhm.
how they do it. Yeah, but I'm glad Tommy Shaw's still in the band. He's the
Yeah.
no.
But yeah, but not to steal Joe's thunder, but Joe, that's fantastic. Like I'm
Well,
glad Mrs. Silkman convinced you.
well, you know what? Actually, it started with Ozzy when Ozzy passed away.
Mm.
And what I'm noticing is that a lot of these legendary performers, people with long careers, we're starting to lose them. And if
Hmm.
we have an opportunity to see them, we should take that opportunity. And I kept like dragging my feet. Oh, I don't want to spend the money. Oh, I got to drive an hour and a half. Where am I going to get parking? The whole thing. I'm like, no, Ozzy's gone. We're never going to have Ozzy again.
Yeah,
The Flaming Lips are out there, and I've enjoyed their show so much. Wayne Coyne is 64. I'm actually like 4 months older than Wayne Coyne, and they travel the world, and they've been traveling the world for years. I don't know how much longer that band can do this. So
yeah,
it was time
Yeah.
to go. So if you have a chance to see a band, that you grew up with, and you go,
yeah.
I'll see them next time. Don't wait for next time.
No,
Go see them
no.
now. One of the great disappointments I ever had from missing out was John Prine played at the Capitol Theater in Portchester. Uh, it must have been 2018, 2019. It was before COVID. And then, of course, I didn't go. I didn't go to the show. And I knew he was one of the great American songwriters. And of course, he contracted COVID and he passed away.
Hmm.
I lost that opportunity to see an icon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
agree with you, Joe. I think that's why also motivated me to see Tears for Fears
all
too.
right.
Because I was like, and it's funny, now my little sister and brother are fans because of the main hits, but and also mom. So I took them all because I was like, yes, they're old, but it's like seeing old friends. How long are you gonna see them for?
Yeah,
And
true.
how long they can keep it up too.
Yeah.
I know Cheech, you saw that AC/DC live video that
I
you sent
did.
me. What'd you think of that?
I thought it was AI, like a joke.
No, it's not. That was the video I was talking to you about.
When Angus was like going, "Oi, oi,
It was so bad.
oi," I was like, "Oh man!"
It's pretty,
And
pretty.
he's got the white hair and the schoolboy suit on.
It just doesn't. I feel like he should lose. I mean, I get it why the suit. I get it, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like he should lose it. Like nothing wrong with this, saying "oi, oi," but it's just so bad, and it trended on TikTok.
yeah. And then the young kids today are gonna be like, "Oh my God, look at these old fogey guys," like, and they are, but I don't know.
But I guess to Joe's point, I feel like if you can say like I never saw AC/DC live. I don't know if either of you two
Oh, I
saw them.
did, I did, yeah. And that was like one of the most next to like Maiden or Slayer, like
Right.
they were power. I mean,
Wait,
they're straight
with
ahead, right?
Brian Johnson, Cheech, I'm assuming.
Brian, oh yeah, Brian Johnson. They
Joe,
were,
did you see AC/DC live?
No, never
Okay.
did.
I
Missed
think,
out.
or it was in the Razor's Edge one. I think I saw.
Mm.
Uh, and they were power. Oh my God, it was probably the loudest concert I've ever been to. They were just powerful.
I mean, I believe it,
It was
but
cool to see him with Malcolm.
all
Back.
right, all right. But that was the video I was telling you about.
Yeah, I sent
That
it.
it was pretty bad, and then we got in that discussion. Should someone just hang up the towel? And
Yeah,
but I think we kind of concluded no. I think
yeah,
a lot of people are still doing their thing.
yeah. I have I would always want to give a shout out to Potter's Field. And just a couple of sad notes. Chuck Mangione passed away today. The great jazz
Mm.
flugelhorn trumpet player,
Mhm.
uh, and Hulk Hogan, the wrestler.
Oh, that I didn't see. Really?
Yeah, and then so like from my era, Joe's era, you got Ozzy, Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show, who was a phenomenal bass player, by the way. People don't know.
Oh, the him. I saw that. See, I didn't know. I never saw the Cosby Show, so I
You never saw the Cosby Show? Oh
no
man, that's
no.
a great show.
The only
Really.
one I remember is his little kid show, Little Bill on Nick Jr. You remember that?
Oh my
I
God.
thought it was maybe like a prequel to like the Cosby Show or something.
No, no, the Cosby Show was amazing. It was like the modern day Brady Bunch in the '80s,
Right.
and
Well,
like
Cheech, you know now it's tainted.
I forget. I try not to think about Bill
I
Cosby
know that
putting
it's.
roofies in the girls' drinks and things like that. And no,
I was like,
but I don't even know if you can watch it. I think they might have banned the Cosby Show.
Maybe.
I did meet the wife in the Temple. I almost said Felicia Rashad. I did meet her in the Temple one time, and she was really cool,
Oh
really
wow,
cool.
wow.
You know, so just like for me, four huge icons of Chuck Mangione, like everybody had that album, right, Joe? That was the album in the late '70s.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had it. And then
Mhm.
and Hulk Hogan, he was in the Rocky movie. I don't know if it was Rocky 2 or 3. He was in when Rocky fought him.
It was three maybe.
Yeah, and then everyone loved Hulk Hogan.
Mhm.
But and
That's sad.
of course Ozzy. Jesus, still, it's still like I still can't believe it.
Yeah, Ozzy's. Yeah, I mean, talk about like I feel like eras are closing or ending
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
lot of the death of these, and what's next. I'm not sure, but I mean, we're oh, what was let's oh wow,
It's
maybe it's on Joe's screen.
Can you see it?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that was the what album was that called? I'll probably listen to it.
Fun and Games.
What's
Well,
the main track? The most famous song?
Give It All You Got.
Yeah, the one that was on the radio all the time.
It was actually commissioned for the 1980 Winter Olympics. I gave you some wrong information earlier.
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
he was a huge icon, and he was like a crossover from a jazz guy, and he had
That's cool.
the most probably I would say probably the most commercial. I guess is give you all you got, the most commercial jazz song, but it was during the Studio 54 era.
Mm.
So like it was also it had a disco section in it, so he cashed in on that kind of thing. So
Well, that's
but,
pretty cool.
yeah,
Well, all rest in peace. So,
yeah,
and then
especially the Prince of Darkness, man.
rest in
And
peace, Ozzy. And then watch out
what
for because that's our next episode coming out for
yeah,
our viewers out there, the Ozzy
have you,
special.
have you caught the AI stuff? That's so cool. Like it's Ozzy in heaven hugging Randy Rhodes. That one brought a tear to my eye.
Mm.
Ozzy's hanging out with Dio and Lemmy. It's just interesting how these things are being created.
Hmm.
But anyway, so the other end of the spectrum, the man, Mr. Dylan. It's been a while. Been a while since we've probably the last one we did was Blood on the Tracks.
Hmm.
Following the
And we're ending with this album, Desire. I don't think you're continuing, right? Because he does have some other classic albums, but it's sort of like how we say it's kind of like Rush after Grace Under Pressure. It's
yeah,
not that the rest of the albums are not good. it's that I don't know how to explain it. Like, Desire is the last great Dylan album,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
a lot of critics seem to think so. I'm listening to it, I
yeah,
can see that. And by the way, there Dylan, Joe, I don't, you know his album, or Cheech. He released he made a comeback in the '90s. Um, I forgot the album name. I'll probably look it up. But a lot of critics and everybody said Dylan's back. But my only issue with that, and don't get me wrong, he has a lot of great classic songs on the album, especially. Okay, so it's called Time Out of Mind, 1997. And that song, Make You Feel My Love, you
yeah,
both know it.
yeah,
So he wrote it and everything. This is what it looks like. I'll put it up in the camera. He made a comeback. But my only issue with this album is his singing now is aged. Like his singing has
yeah,
gotten a lot
yeah.
worse. On Desire though, like it's peak. If
Oh,
anything, he's singing like um he's not doing that, yeah, no, the nasally,
nasal, yeah,
voice. I ain't gonna work on Maggie. He's like now actually like pretty good. He sounds like a great folk singer in his own right now.
yeah. Oh, definitely.
So it's I don't know how Joe feels about that. I think it's Dylan's
Oh,
last classic, and he kept releasing, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm so hooked on Bruce Springsteen right now. I think I'm just focusing on the I wrote at least what did I tell you I wrote yesterday?
Nebraska. No, no, you wrote Darkness,
Darkness. Yeah, I
right?
that one and Born to Run.
Right. It
And then
was crazy because they kind of got released in the same time frame.
yeah, yeah. I think Born to Run was a year before this album.
Right.
And Springsteen's going to come up on the Rolling Thunder review. There's a part of that he mentions he's mentioned, and I'll bring that up. So let's jump right in, fellas, if that's cool. So Joe, you know what I'm going to ask you?
where was I in 1976,
Yes,
75?
yes,
I was in the ninth grade at John Jay Junior High School
cool.
in Cross River, New York. But I'll tell you, this album, and in particular the song "Hurricane," brought back a memory from when the album had just come out in that winter of '76. I got to tell you, it's a quick story, but I had a classmate. His name was Jerry Ratner, and he was a good guy. And I recall being, in the classes with him, and he was always writing on something on the desk. And I used to look at the desk, and it would always say "Free the Hurricane." He used to
Ah,
take like a blue Bic, pen, and in
yeah,
small print in the upper right hand corner of every desk he sat in, he would write "Free the Hurricane."
wow.
I probably the janitorial staff at the school hated, the kid
Yeah,
that did that, but he was kind of like in his own way being an activist,
that's
because
amazing.
the song "Hurricane" was the album was out,
Yeah,
and yeah,
Right.
taking a stand, free the
yeah,
hurricane.
Hurricane. That was a pretty big deal. We'll get into his what he got accused for. He spent a lot of time in jail and stuff, and Dylan kind of helped him get out, from doing these benefit concerts and stuff.
Yeah. It's funny because Jerry had a brother who had a band, and the name of the band was Damn the Weather. And I'm wondering why I can remember that all these years later. And it's because it kind of sounds a little bit like Dead Weight Burden.
Okay.
It does, well, Damn the Weather,
Yeah,
Dead Weight Burden.
yeah, that's true.
It
Yeah,
just brought me back. I don't know how I was able to remember the both band names, but there you go.
Mm.
cool.
It's very cool, Joe.
Yeah, I was in kindergarten listening to Boston's first album and Kiss Alive over and over and over and 2112 on repeat. And my mom told me a funny story that when I was a little kid, I would always sing "Finish with My Woman." I kept singing that all the time because it was on the radio. And she's like, "What do you sing?" And I'm like, the song on the radio." And then the DJ was like, "Oh, it's Paranoid by Black Sabbath." So she bought me like the 45 to Paranoid when I was like 4 or 5 years old. That and Candyman by what's his name? Oh God,
Sammy Davis
yeah,
Jr.
Jr. Said she went to Corvettes and got me Paranoid and Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr. I
I'm surprised she got you paranoid. I don't think she knew what he was buying.
Well, she bought me Diary of a Madman too. many years later, like because like I was just like this is what I want for Easter. Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz. And like when I was like 11, and she's like, "All right, this is what you want," you know. So, but then she, later on learned to really appreciate Ozzy, and she was crying too when he passed because I think
Mm.
everybody was crying on "Mama, I'm Coming Home." That performance.
Yeah, that song now, and another song that now, I think Joe, or one of you love this song, "Changes."
Oh yeah, it's
Now
beautiful.
that song is kind of devastating now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a great performance of Ozzy and Kelly, its daughter, singing it. I think Joe, we were talking about that. It's really good. It's really sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and you got to feel bad for Geezer and Tony and Bill Ward, like coming up with the Oz Man and it's all the memories that those guys shared and creating heavy metal. I feel bad for
Yeah.
those guys too, as well. Obviously, the family and stuff.
Right.
So
And just one thing about Ozzy in interviews too, I keep forgetting how like humble he is.
yeah,
Like he's so like yes, he's the Prince of Darkness. He's like the heavy metal godfather and so many. Maybe time Cheech, I send you like interviews with him like in the 80s,
yeah.
and he's just like a great dude. Like
That the
he's like, and no, there was one quick interview where he's like, yeah, hey, Meta, it's all about the drugs, but that's really how we grew up on. Really is nothing, It's like, but the way he says it's just so great.
There was one where he's really humble, and you see the inner fanboy in him come out when he meets McCartney. I think I sent that to you.
I saw that, yeah, because he like Lemmy were huge Beatles fans, like
Yeah,
huge, which just
and
kind of shows you that influence on
and he
them.
meets McCartney, and he's like, "Hey, Paul," and then McCartney's like, "Oh God, who let him in here?" That kind of thing. And then he's like, "I just want to tell you, like, you're one of my biggest influences." And McCartney said, "Oh, I love the story that you were a burglar." And I think Ozzy was like, "What?" But oh, they said to Ozzy in an interview, if you weren't a rock star, what would you be? And he said, a burglar. And and then they said, well, what would you steal? He said, women's underwear. His quick wit was insane.
He did classic British wit, like
Yeah. Oh, the best. So, albums, 1976. Well, who's that band from Canada? Manny.
who?
I don't know. The band from Canada had a concept album about Ayn Rand. Came out in 1970.
Man, it was it Dark Side of the Moon or
No, little band called Rush, which will be.
Geez, I felt like there were nobodies at the time.
And when 2112 came out, it was the beginning. It was the beginning of their career. Like,
No, I'm saying as a joke, they're nobodies.
oh, no, but 2112 really at that point
Major. Like that's their
that broke Rush.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
another.
Fantastic album.
Oh,
Very
great.
different from Desire. Like talk about
Oh,
different.
well, yeah. All these albums are that I'm gonna name. Stevie Wonder. I think these are important albums that came out. Songs in the Key of Life.
Oh, the double album.
Yeah.
I
Blue
consider his
Oyster Cult,
greatest.
Agents of Fortune, classic album. Don't.
Classic.
An album that Joe loves, Aerosmith, Rocks.
That's considered their finest by many.
Yep. I think I'm gonna. Is it Station to Stain by Bowie?
Oh, Station to Station by David
Oh,
Bowie.
okay. Oh, I don't.
Another classic
I
one.
don't want to say that word. Yeah.
But speaking of Ozzy and drugs, David Bowie was doing so much cocaine during the recording of that album, like
Yeah.
a lot. Like drugs were like high.
And Mick Bronson is connected to this album. So
Yep, his guitars. Yep.
Boston's first album, a little band from England who had an album. One of Joe's favorite bands, 1976. You know that album, Joe? From that little band from England that you love?
Are we going to talk about physical graffiti?
No, Presence.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Uh, the Stones, Black and Blue, AC/DC, Dirty Deeds, the Eagles, Hotel California, Manny's favorite,
Yes.
The Tail, Genesis.
Dude, like just the fact that Zach is dropping this, this sounds like a monumental year.
Frampton Comes Alive, Wings at the Speed of Sound, Queen, A Day at the Races, Steve Miller, Fly Like an Eagle, Kiss, Destroyer, Joni Mitchell, I don't know, Harishara, how do you say it? Ehegara? Harishara?
Wait, which one?
Joni,
Oh, are you talking about the Joni Mitchell album?
yeah,
So I don't know if that's a Spanish word, but it should be Hijira.
yeah. Bob Seger, Night Moves, great album, and Bad Company, Running with the Pack. So that's a great year. I mean,
Yeah,
1976
it's highly
was,
competitive.
yeah, a lot of
And the fact that Bob Dylan was successful with this album.
oh yeah, it's crazy. So Bob Dylan, um, Rolling Thunder Review. So before he records Desire, he goes out with the Rolling Thunder Review, 1975 into 1976. Now he wanted concerts with all different musicians and collaborators. He wanted to play smaller venues in less populated cities where he can move so he can be more intimate with the audience.
Hmm.
So some of the musicians on the Rolling Thunder Review were Joan Baez, Roger McGowan, Joni Mitchell, Ronnie Blakely, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, Bob Newworth, um, and then these were some of the backing musicians from Desire. Also Scarlett Rivera, Rob Stoner, Howie Waith, Mick Ronson from Bowie. He did 57 shows, two legs in the States, and then Desire came out in 75. So he toured in 1975 before Desire came out.
Hmm.
So people were listening to Desire, but they didn't know the songs. Um, so it was documented. This is where you got to help me, Manny, because I'm confused. It was documented by Martin Scorsese. The Rolling Thunder Review, the Bob Dylan story, came out in 2019. But was this recorded? Was this supposed to come out in the 70s?
Well, are you talking about the documentary, but
Yeah.
Scorsese? No, he didn't direct. He didn't direct it. He just he made, or I guess he did, but he at the time. I don't know who exactly filmed these concerts. I mean, I mean, Joel, because he saw a documentary too, but it was just like film footage. So
Was it going to be like a song remains the same? Or was it going to be anything?
I guess, yeah, all Scorsese did was get everything and put it together.
Okay.
Well, he put a lot of fictional stuff in there, like with Sharon Stone. He had these
Yeah,
different
which is
characters
weird.
that it was all fictionalized. Sharon Stone was never involved with Dylan in terms of suggesting that he, you know, dress up like Kiss and put on kabuki makeup. And that's in the movie that Sharon Stone supposedly, because she was wearing a Kiss T-shirt, met Dylan. And
I do wonder what the yeah, I know. I don't, Joe. What was the point of that? Like
I really don't know. I don't understand it.
yeah, I don't understand it either.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
necessary.
no.
I
But
guess he didn't just want to do a concert pick.
it's weird though. But anyway, but yeah, so but Cheech, no, because I know Scorsese directed The Last Waltz. He didn't film none of this. There's another story with that, but yeah, like the song remains the same. The footage was in there.
Yeah.
Um,
But it never came out. I mean, there was some stuff from this tour that did make it to
yeah,
TV.
yep,
That TV.
yep. Some videos, yeah,
Yeah. Um, so Bob Dylan basically wanted a backing band, and he was inspired by Patti Smith because she
yep,
inspired to have like a regular backing band. And we talked about this yesterday. Why maybe Dylan wasn't as successful as say Bruce Springsteen or Billy Joel in the 70s because he kept changing musicians.
yep.
And you
Lack
got
of a band.
a solid backing band like the E Street Band or something like that. So he wanted to, keep. I wonder if and he probably changed the band in the next album, so he never really learned. Um, but on this tour, he wanted Patti Smith to be on it, and he wanted Bruce Springsteen to be a part of the backing band. Now, Bruce declined because he was touring with Born to Run, and that's crazy. Imagine your idol wants you to be on tour with them, but you have an album that's already massive and you can't do
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
I would have done like one or two shows if I was Springsteen. Just say, can I play?
I know it also depends too because like I don't know Joe knows these or Cheech the concerts and he did a tour in England that was so successful and uh Dylan though and this is according to the documentary too he was traveling in a bus doing things kind of like old fashioned,
Yeah,
it's like at this point Springsteen was massive at this point making a lot of money
yeah,
and but Dylan sort of reverted. So maybe like logistically it just wouldn't make sense. Like
yeah. It's true. Um, so he also, let me see, where am I? He also did some benefit shows for Hurricane Carter,
mhm.
who was and I love that story, Joe. That's why Joe is amazing, Manny. To bring these like that's insane, that story, when I just like thought about it. Hurricane Carter was falsely accused of a crime that he did not do. Um, we'll get into that when we get into the song. So the concerts for Hurricane had special guests Roberta Flack, Robbie Robinson, Scarlett Rivera, Muhammad Ali, Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell. And Hurricane Carter was so inspired, and he really had great admiration for Dylan, for doing this. Okay. Second Hurricane show was in Texas. Ringo Starr, Steven Stills, a drummer named Joe Vitale, Stevie Wonder was there. And this was filmed for a an NBC show called Hard Rain Live. It was in TV 1978. Okay, now, Joe, we talked about this at the temple when I saw you the other day. I don't understand this, but tell me about uh, the movie Ronaldo and Clara. What the hell? What is this? Because this gets lumped in here somewhere.
Yeah, he did another film, but it was hated. It was too long, and they lost a lot of money on it. I amazingly enough was able to see an edited form of it that maybe was an hour long that they put on network television.
Okay.
But I
Was
don't really know specifics of it. But yeah,
was,
Ronaldo and Clara.
was it
I never even heard of the movie.
was it put in the movie theaters at the time, or
I don't think so. I don't think it made it that far because you know how sometimes they have groups that go in and watch movies and give their opinion on them before they're released.
Mhm.
Siskel and Ebert? Remember those two guys?
Well, no, this would have been just people off the street.
Oh,
Like a lot of times they're just asked what they think of the ending,
yeah,
and if they
Right.
they hate the ending, they might actually change it.
yeah,
Right. Well,
uh,
I never even heard of it. I don't even know what.
yeah. It's odd.
So wait, Dylan did what? He soundtracked the album or starred in it?
I, I don't know. Joe?
I think he starred in it. I
Yeah.
thought it was a concert thing.
Oh.
There was concert stuff in it from the Rolling Thunder Review, but there was also like movie clips made into it. Maybe like A Song Remains the Same kind of
Mm.
thing.
Okay.
The film was haphazard fictional drama filmed during the Rolling Thunder Review. Um, there was a bootleg series of it, Volume 5, Bob Dylan, Rolling Thunder. This is there was a bootleg series of Rolling Thunder Review, Volume
Mhm.
5. It was released in 2002, and then the Martin Scorsese on Netflix,
Mhm.
2020, I believe. Okay, so Desire, Bob Dylan's 17th album, 1976 on Columbia, produced by Don DeVito. It was after Blood on the Tracks, and that album did very well. Successful album. Desire went to number one on Billboard for 5 weeks, double platinum in the UK for 3 weeks. like I said, he got inspired by Patti Smith to do have his own band, and work with this band for a long time. I guess he worked with the band for a long time, well over a year before he went in the studio because he toured a lot with them. Uh, so where am I here? I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. And then he went on tour, and they did the Rolling Thunder review, and that was a big inspiration for him. And then he played to a lot of people. There was a lot of the shows were sold out on the Rolling Thunder review. Oh,
What's funny though? In the documentary, I don't know if you have that in your notes, but commercial, it sold out, but it didn't do well financially.
really?
Yeah, like the big wigs, the promoters were
Yeah,
like, and it's because again, Dylan did things a little backwards. Where maybe he was inspired by Patti Smith. You know how like the punk
yeah,
movement, where you strip away the luxury and get together in the back of a bus or van and do
yeah,
things through, how up and coming bands used to travel by road to. That's what he was doing, and he also decided to just stick to small venues when
yeah.
he could have capitalized. But Dylan was trying to capture a spirit or something.
And he hit towns that were not places that a lot of bands went to.
Hmm.
I mentioned that in the beginning. Like, he didn't come to like Madison Square Garden. He went to like
And
down in Arkansas, like Little Rock, or
yeah,
that.
yeah. And what's crazy? This is according to a documentary, but they did instead of like big billboards and everything, like they had their promoters on foot, going through these cities. Guys, Dylan here, and then the people would be like, "Oh, who's this? I don't want to see him." Like,
Weird. Page out in the newspaper. Like back then, it was all about Rolling Stone magazine or big ads in the newspaper. You would think.
it's just there was this based on the documentary. It's like everything was spontaneous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Classic Dylan chaos, but it wasn't like it sold out, but it
yeah.
did not do well financially.
That,
But it inspired the never ending tour. Like
yeah,
Dylan has been on tour even to this day.
yeah. I know. That was his thing, spontaneous stuff, and that's why a lot of musicians. That's why Clapton and Joe told the story earlier. Uh, and when we get to it, maybe you could tell that story again. He wasn't happy with Desire, the way it was working out with all the musicians. Um, and I'm gonna list all the musicians: Bob Dylan, vocals, guitar, harmonica, piano; Scarlett Rivera, violin. Now I think Joe, and that was a good time to just tell that quick Scarlett Rivera story.
I really don't know if I can believe it, but I've seen it from multiple sources that basically Scarlett Rivera is walking down the street in New York City at the same time that Bob Dylan was in a car going to the studio to start recording songs for Desire. And he saw this woman with a violin case, and she was probably, I'm sure, with the long black hair and all, she was very maybe bohemian looking. He took an interest in her, had the car stopped, and asked her if she would come to the studio and be on some songs with them. So it really unbelievable. I don't know if I really can believe it, but she
No.
said herself in the Rolling Thunder documentary
Yep.
that had
Yep.
she, been, 30 seconds ahead or 30
Yep.
seconds behind, or if she had, made a left turn up the street, it would never have happened.
Yeah.
But she
Is
plays a very prominent role in the sound of the whole album.
Oh yeah, she's all over the place, and it's destiny. I believe in destiny for things, so that was destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, and it's crazy that album also, I feel like Dylan is shared by, okay, obviously Dylan, right? But Emmylou Harris, Emmylou?
yeah,
Emmylou?
yeah.
Emmylou, and then the violinist, which is like the three kind of like little spices on the album that kind of make the album sound unlike other Dylan records.
And I don't think there's ever been violin and harmonica played together.
As far as I know.
And it's on. This is like an innovation of that.
Mhm.
You know?
And it's the sound of you're going to talk about it soon, but Hurricane. Na, 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 like you
Uh,
hear it, which is
she,
crazy.
she's amazing. He's obviously the famous Emmylou Harris background vocals. Rob Stoner. um, bass background. Um, and he lives in Nyack. Joe told me he lives local.
Hmm.
Howard Weath on drums and piano. Mike Larnez piano. Dominic Cortez mandolin, accordion, mixed by Luther. I'm sorry, Luther Ricks on congas. Monty Blakey on vocals, a guy named Eric Clapton on, I'm going to say it wrong, Romance in Barango.
Or Romance in Durango or Durango.
Barango. James Berg did the cover. Uh, Don Meatler engineered, and Luther Ricks did the conducting, whatever that means. Okay, we'll get into Hurricane. Now, Dylan didn't
The
do,
first track of the first song of the album,
yeah,
Hurricane.
Hurricane. It's the first track,
Hmm.
followed by
It's a
Ice.
long one, right? Isn't it like 9 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, there's a couple of long ones on this album.
And he also brings in a writing partner.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Who's the
Yeah,
writing partner?
Jacques Levy. Jacques Levy.
And by the way, I think he co-wrote all the songs, right?
He did, and I sent. Well, it's been a while since I wrote this, but I sent you a thing. He was a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
Yeah, it's weird. And,
Yeah,
you know what's funny from the album is also strange. I was watching a Dylanologist that I like on YouTube, and he was saying he doesn't like Desire because of because the music, since it was co-written by another songwriter, it kind of robbed Dylan of what he made him Dylan. So, and also it's hard to tell what he did on the album or what he wrote versus what and I hear it though because
yeah,
there's a lot of psychological insight in a lot of these songs
yeah,
of individuals and like Hurricane in a way is like during the time like crime I'm sorry race issues were still problematic, and in psychology was a big topic,
yeah.
and like understanding bias and differences. So Dylan tries this is not like, and he's done protest songs,
Oh yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
nothing like this, like a psychological analysis of the whole situation.
yeah. He even got sued by somebody too. Uh,
Oh, and Joey too. I look into, but I feel like that sounds a
well,
little clumsy.
well,
But
Jacques Levy, me and Joe were just talking about this. He wrote Joey. Dylan did not write Joey.
oh, see, that's why it's interesting
Yeah,
because I see what he was doing. It's like a true crimer in a way.
yeah. And Dylan just said he sang on it, right, Joe? That's what we were saying.
Yeah, the impression I got was that people were giving him a hard time about having a gangster as kind of a sympathetic character.
Right.
And, Dylan was like, hey, dude, I didn't write the words, I just sang them.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if anyone gave Springsteen a hard time with Nebraska.
Um, with Stockweather in
Yeah, like glorifying him in song. Like, right.
Atlantic City because the Chicken Man,
Well, Atlantic City is more sympathetic, but
yeah.
not Nebraska. Like,
No, Nebraska is singing about a serial killer, a site. I mean, in
and by the way, I think he wasn't he a pedo technically because wasn't he 18
he was
or
18.
20?
He was 13. He was 18.
Oh wow, even worse than
He
in
was
terms of
13.
like his killings.
And there's so much to that, dude. Like Stockweather, it's so complicated. On the research, like he killed her mother and father, and then he said she killed some people. Then she
Right.
did. It's like
Right.
you wonder if she even did anything. And she said she was taken hostage the whole time.
Right.
It's a
Well, no, and I will say like this versus just quick versus Joey. The problem I have, it's an okay song, but the way he sings about him, he sings at him. He sings like if he was some sort of like hero or
yeah,
saint. Especially when they scream the chorus,
yeah.
like, and I'm kind of confused. I'm like, I mean,
Well, you gotta remember, mob movies were huge at the time.
yeah,
Godfather.
but music though, not really. Like in terms of like because in music, like think about it, that time, nobody was really singing about the mob though.
No, no, no. But they were
No.
in popular culture it was, like, movies and
Oh, so maybe he was trying to go for that kind of
maybe
cinematic, kind of like a
yeah,
cinematic thing.
Yeah, like Bonnie and Clyde.
I
yeah,
could see that. I could
Bonnie
see
and
that.
Clyde, and I mean, because they Stockweather was a Bonnie and Clyde.
I mean, they should make that movie today, like a
They
psycho,
should
like a
remake that,
remake, and
make it, and they would make it brutal because just God, so sick. I mean, twist.
It's kind of like you go to present time or, decades ago, I guess now, but The Sopranos,
Yeah,
right? With that psychological,
yeah,
he's like a split personality. He's supposed to be this loving father with, the
right.
two kids, and and be gentle and troubled. And then he turns around and he's one of the most violent, people you would ever meet.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I wonder. Well, we'll when we get to Joey, we'll get to Joey. But I wonder if they were predating that. I know Godfather started it, so it could Cheech, you could be right because of the mafia. Maybe
yeah,
Jacques Levy.
yeah,
And I know if he's a psychologist, they're always obsessed with like movies like The Godfather because they take a look at like things are not so black and white in a way.
yeah.
Someone really lovable is strangling people or like or pulling or like Michael Corleone pulling the shots on that mass murder at the end like
Yeah.
where and he's baptizing his baby in a Catholic church. It's like this
When I,
dude that believes in God is doing this like
dude, when I was a kid, I'm not gonna say his name, but one of my best friends in sixth grade, I'd sleep at his house, and his father would be coming home. I swear to God, late. We'd be waking up like 4 or 5 in the morning, and his father's in the driveway with the hose cleaning out the back of his trunk, and I'm just like, what does your dad do for a living? He always comes home late, when I sleep over. And then, years later, was in the paper. He was a hitman. He got caught in White Plains. Uh, he shot somebody.
right.
So
That's
I,
scary.
I was, and I was like lucky to be friends with him because the kid lived in Rye Brook. He had like almost a mansion house. He had cable before anybody. He had the big screen TV. It was like going to the Soprano house, and it was just like a nice family that moved from the Bronx to Westchester to Westchester. So yeah, I was friends with a mob guy's son. So anyway, Hurricane, protest song written by Jacques Levy. Ruben Hurricane Carter was a famous boxer, and he got in trouble and put in prison um, for a murder for murdering supposedly 3 people in New Jersey. Going to find out, it was an unfair trial. There was a lot of false allegations, a lot of faulty evidence, questionable eyewitnesses. In his autobiography, he maintained his innocence, and Dylan read the autobiography, and he visited him in prison a lot, and that's what inspired him to write the song. And this is when the Black Panthers really fell for Bob Dylan. It was like, wow, this guy's amazing. He's trying to help one of us get out of jail. So it's a protest song. Um, he did get sued by a woman named Patty Valentry, who was who was mentioned, who was portrayed as a part of the conspiracy, but she lost in court. Carter was jailed from 1967 to 1985. The judge Lee Sorokin found him innocent and freed him. And then Hurricane went on to help other prisoners who were falsely accused, have a better life and try to get them out of jail. So, any questions on that or anything on Hurricane Carter and Hurricane?
Oh, yeah, I got something on that. Is there must have been something about the lyrics that they learned would be libelous. So I guess that it was like accusing someone in the song of something that they didn't do.
Yeah,
So Dylan had to rewrite a portion of the song, and because of that, they had to re-record all the vocals. And on the original, it was Emmylou Harris, but by the time they had to do, another version, she had to leave the sessions to go on with her own career. So that's
yeah.
when Bonnie Blakely came in and did the backing vocals on Hurricane.
Oh,
But
okay.
I guess that Dylan thought, or someone, I guess probably legal at Columbia, would to say, you got to change the lyric here. We could be sued for libel,
Yeah.
but I don't know what that lyric was. So because we only know what
Well,
actually came out.
the lyric might have been the woman I mentioned, who sued him,
And why did that woman sue again, Cheech? Remind me.
because she was a part of the conspiracy to put Hurricane in prison.
But so she sued after the album came out,
Yeah, yeah,
because what I'm hearing is that during the recording of the album, he had to change lyrics that
right.
would have protected him from a lawsuit. So there had to still be something in there that, well, sometimes if the lyrics get out in advance, someone can sue to stop the publishing of something.
Yeah,
So I'd like to know more about that.
yeah,
When the
That's
lawsuit
interesting.
occurred.
But we don't know if that woman. So that Cheech, that woman sued because she was on the pro leaving blaming Hurricane Carter.
yeah, yeah,
So I think go back to Joe's point. Maybe she heard something in the song. Maybe and they fixed it and
yeah,
maybe good because otherwise it would have gotten even more in trouble.
yeah, yeah. But she
And
didn't.
the song is the song is and it's not. I mean, actually, it could be a hot topic today too. But it's very political in terms of
Yeah,
Dylan's being kind of because this poor dude got blamed and things haven't changed much. But
I'm
no,
sure they had to edit it for the radio if there was any radio play, because there is some profanity,
yeah,
and there's also a racial slur.
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
So I know that sometimes they, when it goes to radio, there's like a word is changed or just
or
deleted.
yeah, deleted for radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, interesting. So musically, nice guitar intro, and I'm gonna say this over and over. Great violin and drums,
good about that line.
great story and great lyrics, amazing chorus. Violin plays throughout the whole song. Um,
Yeah,
and and then there's a solo in between the verses. Great drum fills. It's a very long song, and then there's violin and harmonica playing together, and then they solo together, and the song ends.
yeah. I will say, yeah, and it's pretty, and just to put on our viewers who it's long, it's 8 minutes and 30 seconds, and it kickstarts the album. And also I think it's Bob Dylan's most, you know how he's absurdist a lot of the times?
Yeah,
And it's, I think because of Jacques Levy, it is like so obvious and so political.
yeah.
Like to the point where it just tells you what the song's about.
Oh, this gives it away.
Yeah. What do you so Joe, how do you feel about Hurricane though? Do you stand test of time? Part of the classic rock pantheon?
It stands the test of time.
Dylan's greatest? What do you think?
Greatest song or greatest
Greatest
political?
song?
Oh no, that we're coming up on that. We're coming up on that.
Yeah,
Cheese, what do you think about Hurricane?
I love it. I think it's a great song.
The sound of it sounds like a hurricane.
It does,
Like a hurricane of sound. I just noticed that, which is it's kind
and
of interesting.
I love the violin. The whole album. This album is so unique because of the violin, and Emmylou Harris. She makes it too.
Well, wait, no, but she's not on her vocals are not on the
No,
Hurricane song.
not on Hurricane, but she's
No.
on like almost every other song.
Right.
Uh,
What do you guys think about the chorus? It's like really catchy. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
doo, 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 dun, dun, dun. Like it
yeah.
sounds very 70s.
Oh, it's real 70s.
But it's great.
Oh, it's a genius. It's one
Well, do you think it fits in with today's political climate with police
Oh,
brutality and
100%.
100%.
um,
If anything, I'm surprised no one has I mean, look at this line. 4 months later, the ghettos are in flame. Rubens in South America fighting for his name, right? But anyway, but that line, um, this caused uh, the Floyd incident, which
Oh yeah,
not
yeah.
much has changed.
Not much has. I mean, just look at Manhattan now. Manhattan is crazy. You know what I mean? With all the arrests and stuff, and you know, it's crazy. A lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just
Like,
wondering if there are going to be young artists out there that are going to start writing songs, and maybe they're already doing it regarding, the deportations, immigrant deportations,
no, yeah, just
which is, I mean, talk about, the cities potentially going on fire and stuff, just out of
mhm.
control.
Yeah, that's such a
And they're getting blamed. Like it's funny because they're blaming, like they'll blame somebody like being Hispanic for all the problems, and like I feel like there might be one poor soul that will get all the blame for a crime he didn't do, and somebody will be writing a song like Dylan's Hurricane, which is sad, right? We don't.
yeah.
Dylan's wrote this with Jock Levy to prevent from this happening, and also it's also immortalized in the '60s, To Kill a Mockingbird,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is almost similar in terms of what I mean. Things don't change. Which Dylan, that's why this song is brilliant.
Yeah. It's ahead
Doesn't
of
take
time.
time. Yep.
And it's historical, you know.
Yeah. Very historical.
Okay.
All right. So, Cheech, go on the next one. This is Joe's favorite,
Yeah.
ISIS.
I,
Iconic.
I broke this one down, Manny. I don't know if I'm right, I'm wrong, because it's a tough one to analyze. Uh Me and Joe talked about the meaning about it a little bit. First of all, Joe, tell us why you like it.
Yeah.
Why is it your favorite album? I mean, your favorite.
From the moment the piano starts to the very end, is just there's just something about Dylan's phrasing and inflection, vocal inflection.
Yep.
Um, I know it's a travelogue. I was stunned that there are no repeat choruses. There are no repeat lines. It's a story from beginning to end, and the words are different. He takes you to different places. And I'm like, my God, how does he do it? How
Yeah.
does he remember this in concert? And actually, I have a friend who is like an amateur musician, and he would say, well, with Dylan, when he did these songs in concert, he always changes them. He never does the lyrics the same way twice. He might change the tempo of the song, and the inflection. Actually, in this particular case, thank God for YouTube, there are several uh, versions of ISIS that are just mind blowing,
Hmm.
live in performance. And one of them is in Rolling Thunder in that documentary, because he's just spitting out the lyrics, and he's just the most animated that I've ever seen Bob Dylan
Yeah.
be. And then Rob Stoner comes in to spit out the lyrics with him. It's almost like rap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing with Dylan. Like I know a lot of songs. Like I, you would think, how can he memorize all these verses and including songs like Desolation Row, for example, like which is an 11-minute. Like, how can he do it? But the way I agree with you, Joe. I think and I noticed that he changes the lyrics, and he's like a rapper on the spot. He can create new, you know, poetics, rhyme schemes, new verses that fit in with the melody, improvise. Like, I think he's just a master of the classic verse, like a poet. So I agree with that.
I
And this
married
song is very
ISIS
mystical.
Day of
Yeah,
May. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Yeah. No, I realized my charger wasn't plugged in. It's like, oh my god. Okay. ISIS. So Manny helped me on this. I think I got it.
Let's see what we got.
I think it's coming from the Lament for Isis poem in Osiris, but he kind of has some liberties with it. Um, a
Mhm.
man who marries a woman named Isis, and it's about their separation. And he goes on an adventure, and he leaves, and he meets a man who promises him something easy to catch and tells him to look for a body. Then this makes no sense, but I mean, it does because it's ISIS, but they ride to the pyramids and they look in the ice tomb. I didn't know there was ice in Egypt in the tomb. Uh,
No, I think that's poetics, but you
yeah.
gotta interpret that.
Then the man dies, who took him to the tomb, and then he gets to the tomb and he opens it, the ice tomb in the pyramids, and it's empty. And that's what I got out of this, and it goes back to the absurdity, but it has the theme of the lament poem for Isis and Osiris.
Mhm.
I don't know how you feel about that.
Joe, what's your interpretation of the song?
I really don't have one. I just love listening to it, and I just love the way he sings it. You would need to like go to a class to interpret it. You know, it's just I don't know. I just think it's amazing the way he performed it in the studio and how he performed it live. It's mind blowing. I was
Mm.
wondering. I was going to ask you, Manny, if you thought there were religious undertones.
Oh, big time
You know,
mythology.
'cause they mentioned the tomb and putting the
Knowledge
cover
Big
back
time.
on the
Well,
tomb.
well, you need to understand Egyptian mythology to unlock the song, and also the it's also kind of Jungian because um, well, first, ancient Egyptian religion is like,
would Osiris be in there?
well, yeah, but it's but ISIS, and it's interesting. ISIS is such an interesting name, first of all. So, Joe, I agree with you. It's like the song is the way he
Was I
also.
close? Was I close on the interpretation?
Yeah, you got the basic rundown.
Okay.
But that's why I asked Joe, what's his interpretation? He doesn't really, and actually for many, I don't think it's actually a very cryptic song.
Yeah, it's
Like,
hard.
but if you understand that Isis was one of the and it's Osiris too, but she was a prominent goddess,
Yeah.
and you know what she represented? Motherhood. So it's like this guy running away from like all the good stuff of magic, motherhood, and healing.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Right.
one way to look at the song. And sometimes I think she was known as the goddess of the dead. So
Yeah.
he's trying to run away from, so and I'm not gonna go into much detail, but yeah, this song is this is
But
this is
wait,
one of my favorites of
is
Dylan's.
the guy Osiris?
Huh?
Is he Osiris?
Could be. He doesn't say it obviously, but it could be. Because she has a role in Osiris's in Egyptian mythology, I think with his resurrection.
Right. Right. Which they go
So
here to atheists will bring that up with.
right. And also he says, I married Isis on the fifth day of May. Like the way he says it kind of sounds like very religious.
Yeah.
But I could not hold on to her very long, so I cut off my hair and I wrote straight away.
A right
Um,
reference.
huh?
Cutting your hair.
Oh,
Um,
that's it's sort of like well, used to be universal symbol manhood of shame.
well, who's the famous um, Old Testament guy? He cut his hair off in.
Oh, yeah, he was Samson and Delilah. So it's a yeah. So it also has some biblical undertones. And it's just very poetic song. But Cheech, you got the straightforwardness of it. It's about a guy um on some sort of journey, their romance, but it's interesting how he marries Isis, but like, I like how he sings in the song like um he sings in the song, but I could not hold her to her very long. And then he runs away for the wild unknown country where I could not go wrong. And I came to a high place of darkness and light. Dividing line ran through the center of town. So now he's talking about, like kind of like Cain and Abel,
yeah,
right? Bad and good. So yeah. And the song musically sounds very Egyptian or sounds very
yeah.
exotic.
Violin. The violin brings that
Yeah.
in.
And that I don't know if it's a piano line, like it's great.
Um, yeah. Uh, uh,
The live version is so up tempo. That's why I keep going back to it. I just love
Yeah.
how up tempo. And I wonder if that was the influence of Mick Ronson being on that tour. You know, having a rock and roller. You know,
yeah.
and Mick Ronson, he had really great studio chops, right? Because I think he
Oh,
Oh yeah.
bought the Hoople,
And
uh,
those Stones.
as well as Bowie. Yeah, yeah. But I'm
yeah.
wondering if that rock guitar like made its way in, and Rob Stoner on bass was like, "Let's kick it up a notch," and then Dylan was probably saying,
Yeah.
"Yeah, up tempo, fast, and play it
Yep.
loud."
And just to bring in, not to throw in Ozzy, but a lot of people said that Randy Rhoads was heavily influenced by Mick Ronson as a guitar player and his look. So if you look at Mick
Yeah.
Ronson when he was young, and you look at Randy Rhoads, dude, they look a lot alike. As far as image that Randy went for, but more heavy metalized. You know, so I throw that.
Classic rock star, you know, from the glam era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ziggy Stardust, man. That
It's a
band,
classic album. Classic.
Trevor Bolder on bass, Bronson on guitar. I'll get to the music. Like you said, nice piano, um, and cymbals in the intro. It's a slow tempo, droning piano. I'm gonna keep saying this over and over. Nice, amazing violin solo is in every
Yeah.
song. There's a tambourine that I like. You notice that tambourine part in the
Hmm.
like light. It's a great story. The lyrics are amazing. Violin between the verses. Great harmonica with violin. Now that's the new thing. Harmonica and violin.
All right. It won't last long though, because after albums, he never does that again.
No one's ever done it. I, that's this guy did something. Like if you're a musicologist or something, like he invented it. He invented a technique. It's like playing a flugelhorn with a kazoo. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
it's amazing.
Mm.
Uh, it's 7 minutes long. There's great drum fills in it. Uh,
Yeah.
and it ends with harmonica and violin. And like I said, the story is so absurd and amazing and mystical. So definitely,
I will say, and talk about the story too. I love how I think Egyptian mythology is the key to unlock the song,
oh,
to get the most out of it. But that being said, it also could be about, like you said, Cheech, like a romance of journey. I
yeah,
love how he says, I married Isis on the fifth day of May, in the last line. Um, on the fifth day of May in the drizzling rain. And before that, he says, I still can remember the way that you smiled. Oh Isis, you're a mystical child. Like, I feel like for those that don't know anything, they'll be like, what is he talking about? But he's entering the myth religious world.
yeah, the Greek myth
And
of Isis, yeah. And I'm assuming he's Osiris. It's got to be. I don't think,
yeah, that could be one interpretation, yeah.
um, so
And I think this is I don't know. I know Joe said his piece about this being his favorite. I think this is one of his best songs.
it might be the best song on the album. I think.
It could be top, yeah. I would argue. I kind of wish. I know it's a hot take. This song should have opened the album
Yeah,
because it'll set the tone of what kind of music you're gonna hear.
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Very
it's just an opinion, but
okay. So
oh, and one more thing about Isis, also with the Egyptian mythology, she's always depicted as the ideal mother,
yeah.
like comfort, like ideal mother, um, and wife.
Well, like I
And,
mean,
and think about it. Have you ever met someone named Isis?
no, it's a horrible group now.
No, no, I know that. But before that, um, it's a mystical name.
Oh,
It's
when I would study like some kind of occult stuff,
you guys can see that's Isis.
Isis always came in the occult world, and she was always compared to the Virgin Mary.
Well, you know what's funny? A lot of I don't know. We're gonna enter a little religious discourse here, but a lot of people claim that Christianity stole a lot from Egyptian mythology. One is Osiris, resurrection, and the Virgin Mary being a descendant from Isis in terms of how she came to
Who
be.
was her son? Who was her son? Isis and Osiris. Wait, Osiris was the son.
Yep, yep. So, no, no, no. Wait, what are you talking about? No, so she had siblings. Osiris.
Right. So, hold on a second. Let's see something.
And actually it's interesting because Isis became one of the most popular deities in Egypt.
But Osiris was her husband,
No, I think brother.
brother. Okay,
Yeah.
but he does resurrect.
She resurrects him.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right, right. Fascinating. But there's a parallel between the Virgin Mary and Jesus and with Egyptian mythology.
Yeah.
A lot of and Isis Crowley used her all the time. in his in.
What makes sense because I don't know if you believe in the esoteric stuff. I love to read about it, but with Isis, if she actually existed, she was powerfully with her magic. She, if
Oh yeah,
anything, was so powerful. She had so much magic that she could resurrect Osiris. And
yeah.
Osiris has, I'm not gonna get into the details, but yeah, maybe Dylan is. But what's strange about that is that I think they were siblings, though. So I don't know, marrying your.
Well, I mean, you- it's an odd thing, but it could be because they
In the religion and mythology.
you know in the whole Egyptian world they did a lot of things different than most cultures than say the Greeks or whatever. So maybe
Yep,
sorry, I don't know.
could
So,
be. But I think that's one way to look at the song,
I
religious for
thought
sure.
Iris was her husband. I didn't know.
You know what? I thought they were siblings.
I thought it was her husband, and they had a child. I'm really shot on Egyptian history right now.
No, so her offspring,
There's
I'll tell you right now. No, okay, no, Horus is her offspring.
Horus, yeah,
Horus, and Horus is another famous one, god of the sun and sky.
yes.
And he has his own thing, own mythology too of him. Um, I
But
don't know
did Osiris impregnate her?
oh, that's a good question. Well, get this. I'm ready. I'm gonna maybe just for like our audience out there. Now, get this. So, in one tale, Horus was born after his mother Isis retrieved, look, all the dismembered body parts of her murdered husband Osiris. So, yes, they
Except
did
for
marry each other,
except for his penis.
except for his penis, which was thrown in the Nile and eaten by a catfish or a medjed,
I'm
or a crab, and some other accounts.
right.
And so, according to Plutarch's account, I love Plutarch, Isis used her magic powers to resurrect Osiris and fashion a phallus to conceive her son. So maybe in Dylan's Isis, there's some sexual undertones as well. Just
So basically, Osiris banged Isis.
yeah, it's crazy. But to return to Dylan, crazy song,
But
making it.
like, see, only out of Dylan could we get into this insanity of Egyptian mythology.
I mean, I wouldn't even think about it until I was looking at the lyrics. I was like, wait a minute, ISIS. Where have I heard that name before? And
Like this goes into the esoteric world. Osiris and Horus. I
yeah.
know Crowley was
Well,
a big.
actually, and that's why he says we came to the pyramids all embedded in ice. He said there's a body I'm trying to find, the body of the father, maybe.
Yeah,
Or she, right? I'll carry it out, but it'll bring a good price. Twas, and I love twas, it's so poetic. Twas then that I knew what he had on his mind. The wind, it was howling, and the snow was outrageous. We chopped through the night and we chopped through the dawn. When he died, I was hoping that it wasn't contagious. So, by the way, so in light of the myth, it actually this song kind of makes sense. Kind of
did
weird.
did Isis remarry after Osiris?
I don't think she did.
Sorry, Egyptian scholars out there. Just kind of brushing up on this. It's been a
I know. I love Egyptian mythology,
I
but
love it.
um, and
This explains, guys, this explains why there are colleges in America that teach courses on Bob Dylan.
Oh
I
yeah,
actually,
oh no, 100% Joe.
like Harvard has Bob Dylan 101, contextualizes Dylan within both popular culture and the tradition of classical poetry.
Hmm.
Boston University has a class, Bob Dylan, Music and Words. University of Pennsylvania, Visions of Dylan, and Dartmouth, exploring Dylan's literary merits.
Dart,
Yeah,
That's just like a few of the schools.
but Dartmouth that's an Ivy League. That's
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think this speaks to, and that's why this song is brilliant because Dylan, and again, you gotta, I feel like it's gotta be thought like this that Egyptian mythology is cool, right? But it's not something everyone studies. In comes Dylan, who's a popular singer, gets a lot of these themes and puts it in verse song, right? And then makes you kind of like, wait, he sort of like gets all of these stories and like
Yeah, yeah,
revisits them again and like brings whatever there was in the old stories, brings out again the new and makes you think. And that's why, yeah, that's why he's considered and won the Nobel Prize for literature. But he's considered one of the greatest songwriters for that reason.
yeah.
So I'm not surprised these colleges are teaching his stuff
But
because I think it's worth it.
it's making us dig up ancient mythology and trying
We
to.
w- we would have to do an own video on just this song and like comparing. Like it'll be like a college class.
I'm sure there's a class on Neil Peart's lyrics. There has to be.
Yeah.
Because if there's one on Taylor Swift, there's got to be one on Neil. Um,
I'll look it up later. I wouldn't doubt the University of Toronto.
oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna butcher this name, Manny. You,
Mozambique?
yeah.
Joe,
Mozambique.
Mozambique. Mozambique.
Now this
Uh,
is a weird. This is almost messed up. The way I took it, it's almost like a messed up concept that I got from it, and I could be way off.
Mozambique?
Because this is a tough album to really break down. So this is what I got from this. Mozambique had emerged from a 10-year war against Portugal that led to their independence in 1975, ironically. Okay. The people there, were free. I don't know who controlled them. Maybe it was Portugal. I don't know. I don't know much of the history.
Hmm.
But people thought the song was about the independence and the freedom that these people had finally. But Dylan just wrote it about a beautiful place to go on vacation.
That's it. And I don't know if you got this in your notes, Cheech, that he and maybe Jax Levy too was just trying to see how many words he could rhyme with Mozambique.
It's just a place. But if you look it up, that year they got their independence after
Right.
fighting.
Maybe could be a coincidence though. Where is Mozambique? Where is it? I mean, I could pull it up, but do you have it?
Portugal. Well, it says they got their independence from Portugal.
Let me see where it is. Oh, so it's a country in Africa.
Well, Africa, I was way off.
It's near, I would say, southeast
There's not even.
Mozambique, next to Madagascar.
Oh wow, I was way off on that.
No, they were probably owned by, colonized by Portugal.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I'm not. I don't know really much the details, but um,
What you mean, like how Haiti and France are.
yeah. But the song's not about that. It's just a cute song.
But and look, in 1975, are they free from their independence? Because that's what I got.
They could be, but again, but the song that's not what the song's about, though.
Yeah,
It's just a random.
coincidence.
It's
Is it?
just. I love Mozambique. I love this song.
It's
It's just so fun.
the vacation spot.
I didn't even know what that was, like if it was or not.
That's basically what I got about the lyrics. Like it's a place to get away, hang out in the sun on vacation. You know, and some people thought it was about the independence of Mozambique, and they thought it was that kind of song, but apparently it was not.
I had heard that it was the with Dylan and his co-writer Jock Levy,
Yeah,
that they just wanted to have fun and come up with as many words for the song that
Right.
rhymed with Mozambique. But I
no,
just went through the lyrics, and there's only like 4 words that do
Yeah.
it.
Right.
I'll say this: the song is very bright. The guitar is very bright. And I'm like, wow, was
Very
he
bright.
going for a radio-friendly tune?
Yep.
Because it sounds like Stephen Stills on acoustic, like when you listen to Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and like a song like "Love the One You're With." It's
yeah,
got that acoustic. Like maybe Cheech, you would know. Maybe it's tuned in a similar fashion as as Stephen Stills' guitar for that bright, sound.
yeah,
You're right. It does sound like actually I could be far off, but it does sound some like a Crosby, Stills and Nash song. Like because I again because of Stephen Stills. I just think it's fantastic. Like I'm actually surprised the song wasn't bigger.
Yeah.
Like I love the way he sings it, and I think I could be wrong. Is Emmylou Harris singing with him?
Um,
Yes.
so the up tempo, nice guitar, nice chord progression. Emmylou Harris is singing it with
Yeah, because you can hear it. You can hear her voice.
nice groove, great violin theme motif, great drum fills. Um, and then the violin dominates everything in a nice pre-chorus.
Yeah. It's funny because I would have I think I already said this, but if I could change the sequencing on the album, begin with ISIS and then follow with Mozambique, because I feel like those songs are just I love the song. This is actually one of my favorites, Mozambique. And I also love Dylan's delivery of it.
Right, right. So lyrically, we're coming up with it's about just a fun song to rhyme with Mozambique.
I think it's just a bright pop song, like really
And
bright.
not,
Not pop, acoustic.
not much meaning involved in the lyrics. Nothing to dig, like just a vacation spot and in like just rhyming scheme.
It's almost like Dylan said to himself, "I need a break from ISIS. I'm going to write Mozambique."
Yeah, no,
ISIS
seriously.
is too deep, you know.
Or hurricane, because it's
Oh
like, all
yeah,
right, let's I'd like to spend some time in Mozambique. The sunny sky is aqua blue. Like it's cute, and all the couples dancing cheek to cheek.
yeah.
Mhm.
Kind of has a Beatles vibe too, in a way. Just gonna throw it out there,
I
but
want I want to research though the history on it to see if it was 1975 when they got their independence.
That would be the history of the country. But I don't think it has nothing to do. There's nothing in that this song about
No,
that.
no, I think it was just coincidental. Maybe he read about it in the paper, or maybe he visited the place. I don't know.
He must have had that on his mind, Mozambique and Portugal, because in Sarah he mentions the beaches of Portugal.
I think yeah,
So I wonder if he wrote the two songs while he was vacationing with his family in
yeah,
Portugal,
yeah.
which has, I guess, a
Could
very long
you,
coastline of beaches.
could you look up if Mozambique was owned by Portugal?
Okay, let's see. Yep. Well, first of all, just off the bat, the official language is Portuguese.
Okay.
And famous because it has a nice tropical climate. Um, and it was so most likely maybe people went vacationing there, or maybe it was like mentioned in Portugal. But um, yeah, Portuguese Mozambique. Yeah.
So that's a good point, Joe. He probably went there with Sarah on the song Sarah.
Or maybe it was in Portugal and heard the country, and he was like, "Oh, Mozambique," and
Right, right. There's a connection. There's
Yeah,
definitely
he must have been in Portugal and been aware of the political things that were going on to that
yep,
country
yep.
involving Mozambique. And yeah, well, when we get to Sarah, that's a beautiful song. But he mentions his children playing on the beach, and
and that's why there's courses on this guy because here we are breaking down a simple song and we came up with some good ideas. He was in Portugal and he heard of Mozambique and there was probably a political thing going on and it's a great vacation place. This is nuts, you know.
Yeah, the song is great too. It's so
Oh,
catchy. It's catchy.
I was thinking about what's that Beach Boys song where it's like
Surfing USA.
no in the 80s.
Oh, Kokomo. Yeah, kind of similar.
Yeah.
Another great song. Yeah. Um, Cheech, do you want to conclude your part one?
Well,
Only because I think my friend's on his way.
yeah, yeah,
Do you
we
want, right? Because we already done already about 1 hour already.
yeah, we have one more cup of coffee, and then we have oh sister. So we could stop here if you need to.
Joe, what do you think?
whatever you want to do. If you got to go, you got to go do something. That's fine.
'Cause I think this would be a good place to part one and part two conclude with the rest of the songs.
Sure. And I'll just mark it.
Yeah, mark on your paper.
So one more. We'll start off with one more cup of coffee.
Yep, and then just go through that. Oh, Sister, Joey, Romance and Durango, Black Diamond Band, Sarah. So that'll be part two, the rest of the album, and
Awesome.
then lift the needle and reactions or thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your homework assignment before the next episode when we come back is to listen to One More Cup of Coffee versions by Robert Plant and our good friend Jack White.
Ooh.
They both covered the song.
Cheech, you're getting tests on this, man. Don't. I'm gonna do my homework.
We
You
did
You're going to
about
have to rank the three versions.
Wow, I didn't wait. A cover of One More Cup of Coffee.
Yeah, yeah. Robert Plant did it. I had never even known that Dylan did that song. I thought it was like a song that was 150 years old, to be honest with you. It has that
Yeah,
to it. It's
yeah.
timeless. And yeah, Robert Plant did it like around 2004. And
send,
Jack
Wow.
White did it also.
send me the both versions. I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
And I do have to say there was something I seen that I was impressed with Jack White. That not his music, but
His guitar playing,
no, not this has nothing to do with his playing or singing.
his
Uh,
little keyboard.
it, it could be staged. I don't know. You know when you're going through the reels and look up all the Ozzy stuff. So Jack White comes up and they said, "Oh, so you can name a Beatles song in one note or two notes?" He goes, "Yeah, I can name every Beatles song." So they played like I should have sent it to you, Manny. Shit and Joe, I should have sent it.
Wait, like just two notes of
Yeah, a second, like the beginning of "I Want to Hold Your Hand." Boom. He's like, "Oh
so they'll play like din din and then
yeah," and he'd be
like,
like,
oh
"Got it," and he did it for like 10 songs and he nailed it. And I'm like, "Wow, this guy's listen to. I could do it with Rush, definitely."
yeah, I was gonna say I could do it with
I
Rush too.
first like from the first Rush album up to probably like Signal or Moving Pictures.
Yeah, I would stop at Grace Under Pressure. Give me any song and I'll know it like that.
Yeah. But I was pretty. I was or Zeppelin. Oh no, I could probably do it more with Zeppelin than any band. Now that I think about it, you know. But I was impressed. If it's not staged, it could be.
I mean, I know Jack White. I mean, again, talk about. I read in interviews, watched in interviews. I know how you feel about Jack White, but he's a huge Beatles fan. Like,
But if he's a Beatles fan. That makes sense. That
no,
makes.
huge. Like Lemmy and Ozzy. Like, it just goes to show you the influence of the Beatles.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was impressed with that though by Jack White.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
Jack White actually performed Blackbird at the White House in front of Paul McCartney. Paul
Wow.
McCartney was being honored at that time. And yeah, I think Jack White was actually very nervous
Oh
because it
God.
was just him and the guitar, and he sang Blackbird.
Wow.
Yeah, huge, huge Beatles fan.
I'm still not gonna. I still don't get the guy.
Well, Cheech, we'll end here. Do you think he's the greatest guitarist of the millennium?
Jack White. I'll never understand him.
Wait, rank his guitar playing. Where does he stand when the guitar grades?
Um. Let me think of the worst guitar player and then put him behind it. Let me
Oh man,
Yeah, I'm telling you, Joe, not
uh,
a. Well, how about this? Who's a better guitarist, Cheech?
Cobain,
Cobain or White?
Cobain. Uh, I don't know. I can't think of a bad guitar player right now that I would compare him to. Oh wait, got to be a bad guitar player like Courtney Love or somebody like that. You
I didn't even know she played guitar.
I don't know. Some of these like hack job alternative groups that guitar. I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to diss the guy. I don't want to. Not never was a fan. I never got it. And I would talk to friends of mine too about it, and they're like, "I don't get it. I don't get
Well,
it."
how do you feel when the song Seven Nation Army like pops up in like a baseball game or something?
Like that song
Okay.
only because I had to cover it because I was in a band with a guy who thought he was Ozzy, and we used to have a lot of fun together. And he sang Sabbath. You felt like you were with Ozzy when you were in a band with this guy Mike. And then he changed. He was a turncoat in the 2000. He turned into this whole like no offense, Mike, I love you, but he was a turncoat on heavy metal, and he wanted to do all this White Stripes, Black Keys, BS, and he knew I hated it. I was like,
Mm.
oh no. I'm not changing my ways. I'm stuck where I am. and you know, and we did do like Matchbox 20. I like them, and we would do some of the Goo Goo Dolls, maybe some of that stuff too, because I love those bands. But when it came to like, down and up, down and down, no, I thought that was a cool riff, you know.
You didn't like the song "I Fell in Love with a Girl"?
I just don't.
I sent you the Joe. I sent him a clip of the song. I know that we are gonna be a good friend.
Oh,
You're like, it's like,
girls on the couch. I was like, no, I just don't. I don't get Jack White. I or Jack Black either.
Joe. He does. I don't know how you feel about Jack Black. Cheech's not a fan.
Not a fan. I love his movies. Love his movies. I think he's funny as hell. You
What
know.
about Tenacious D?
Love. I don't know the band. Never resonated with me. But you know, I think like the whole thing he did at you know, the Ozzy's concert. I was like, you could Deep Purple could have filled that spot. You know, in my opinion, I don't know. What do I know? But Jack White never resonated with me. Not, you know, no. Everybody has a band that you know like. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna on the guy and say he sucks because he doesn't suck. He can play. You know, he can play an instrument fairly well. You know, but I'm not gonna put him up there with like you know. I think Cobain is Yngwie Malmsteen compared to this dude. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of
man, any white stripe fans out there we just pissed off? Or...
I'm trying to yeah, if I piss you guys off, it's okay. You know, you can hate Fate's Warning. That's fine. You know, that's cool. You can hate you know, Rush. You can hate Rush. That's cool. Back at me. But who's a bad guitar? I can't think of a bad guitar player right now that's like that really sucks, but people
Well, tell you what, that's also your follow-up homework assignment.
yeah,
Look up and
send me
then
bad
next.
guitar players. Not that I like Cobain was melodic on the acoustic on that you know, the MTV Unplugged. I like
Oh
his
yeah,
artwork on that, you
yeah,
know.
and cover David Bowie.
You know, yeah. I like Kurt Cobain better than Jack White.
All right, you heard it here. You heard it here first. Cheech loves Cobain more than Bowie.
Definitely give me Kurt Cobain over Jack White. You know what pissed me off? I think Joe about Jack White, the cockiness he had on "We're Gonna Get Loud." That I mean, I watched it. I was excited and didn't know who he was, and I love the Edge. Obviously, God, Jimmy Page is on there, and I'm like, who's this guy who looks like he needs to go in the sun? You know, with like he looks like he needs to take some vitamin D or something like that. You know,
Why was he pale too? I never understood
yeah,
that. Like I don't know. I'm just
and like he's like all cocky and stuff, and then I'm like, dude, you're next to Jimmy Page. You should be like humbled by the Edge, who's the greatest atmospheric guitar player in the world, and Jimmy Page is like the greatest guitar player in the world. And that cockiness turned me off. And then my old boss at the Temple gave me a bunch of Jack White stuff, the White Stripes, and he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this." And I said to him the next day, "Where's the bass?" And he's like, "Oh, they don't have a bass player." I'm like, "Well, not for me."
not for me, man. But on
And then,
this note, though, well,
hey, Jack White fans, this is my opinion only. Jack White, if you ever watch this, just my opinion. You could say I suck as a bass player. I don't give a shit either. Either way.
And I'll just go on record as saying that I love Icky Thump.
and
I love
I
Jack White. There were like 7 riffs in the one song. He could have written 7 songs from Icky Thump.
yeah.
I
And
Maybe we could do, you know, it's funny, and then I have to go here, guys, but we could do maybe a White Strap episode, and maybe Joe and I can convince you, Cheech, that, you know, he is pretty good.
I'm not saying he sucks because he doesn't suck. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the
I
guy
mean, Icky Thump, though, I mean, that riff is monstrous. Like, he wrote a lot of riffs in that song, but
like there's just something about maybe he's a little too raw in his playing.
it could be. I'm gonna listen to his new stuff. I haven't listened to his new album because apparently it's really good. Um, Maybe I'll listen to the White Stripes for you, Cheech, and then I'll determine if he sucks or
And
not.
maybe I'll listen to it again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I think that since the White Stripes broke up, every band that he has worked with, backing musicians, he has had a bass player.
yeah, I never follow.
That's true, Cheech. Yeah, he left the White Stripes model and then incorporates full band and is
Yeah, I never followed him after ever.
um,
And
Yeah.
I don't know
So,
much. I really don't know much about his music, so maybe his stuff is good after the White Stripes for
yeah.
me.
I was never a fan of the Rock and Tours, but I thought the Dead Weather with Alison Mosshart was very interesting, and
mm.
they had a bass player.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't.
oh, Cheech, you got some homework to do, some listening.
Just start with one more cup of coffee.
Yeah, we'll have one more cup of coffee. Then
Yeah,
we'll
That's
come
all.
back. One more cup of coffee before I go, you
if
know?
you need White Stripes, I'll.
Yeah, you can listen to two versions. You know, the Jack
I'm
White
gonna
band.
I'm
This
gonna
is
listen to it now. Yeah, yeah, and then we'll begin the discussion on next on as we
I,
continue the record.
I already vote for Robert Plant.
Automatic. I mean, Robert. I mean, yeah. We'll talk about that when we get there, though. But gentlemen,
All right,
I'll catch you on the next side.
great job. And I will mark one more cup of coffee and put White Stripes next to it.
have a good
Sir.
night.
You
All
too,
right,
guys. Awesome. I love the shirt, Joe.
love.
All right, take care.
All right.
All right. All right, how's everybody doing? This is the Cheech, Manny, and Joe podcast, as you know, from our Zeppelin series. This is part two to the great 1976 Desire album by the great Bob Dylan. And this is one of Joe's favorite albums. So Joe's joining us on that. And we're going to break down, I believe it's we're not on side two yet, but we're still on side one. So we're gonna just pick it up where we left off. Manner, how are you? How's everything?
Hey, but man, what's going on? The people's
Not much.
business.
Yeah, not much, man. A day away from the temple. Did some shopping with my beautiful daughter. I bought a great book, as I
I
sent
was
to you.
I was gonna say I'm so excited because we'll be able to utilize it in our true crime stuff.
Yeah, the if you could see it.
Yeah, go closer, closer. Yeah, serial killers of the 70s, which is that.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, I think that was a peak of serial killers.
Oh yeah,
Maybe a
yeah.
peak. Like it started with the guy that obviously there's probably maybe we could do prehistoric serial killers. Maybe that could be an
Well,
idea.
Jack the Ripper.
Maybe something maybe even before that, like Jack.
Oh, I'm sure. I know. I gotta really. I got. That's a great idea. I gotta research
That's
that.
an idea, but it's interesting that like just me. I'm not an expert on this, but there's a peak, and I think the 70s,
Oh yeah,
and
they
like
were out of control. They were out of control.
yeah, and there was a theory that I remember. I don't know where I read this, but some psychologist, psychiatrist said that perhaps these serial killers were influencing each other, and also
Yeah,
the influence of cinema. For example, like American Psycho is inspiring people, but in the wrong way.
yeah, yeah.
Inspired by the that infamous dude that, do you know his name? The one that American Psycho is based on, Psycho.
Oh, I forget. I forget his name.
Yeah. So anyway, but
And Manson helped a lot. Charlie.
Ted Bundy and Manson, both notorious.
Yeah.
Like
Well, Bundy's in this book. He's one of the first ones I'm thinking for the next episode.
the only difference is that they're sociopaths because they're charming. Like
Oh
Manson,
yeah, yeah.
I know he looked crazy, but he was popular with the ladies.
He was. Yeah.
I mean,
And,
you know,
and and then we got just to let our viewers know, Starkweather will be
mhm,
coming up next. I've been obsessed with that lunatic and his
yeah.
Fugate girlfriend, 13-year-old girlfriend.
And that's great because in the Born to Run biography I'm reading, I hopefully I get to that point and we can explore together like why Springsteen was inspired by Starkweather, and then we're gonna delve into his history.
Well, I don't want. I know we're not getting off the topic.
Yeah.
Darkweather was severely influenced by James Dean. He worshipped James Dean.
Oh, it's similar to how J.D. Salinger influenced with his novel Catcher in the Rye.
Yes.
And I mean, maybe we could do an exploration on that as another idea. It's like
Oh yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So
Very
I think
fascinating.
when we get there, I got so much on that psychopath, but
And I'm a huge James Dean fan. Love all his movies.
and I really feel like me and you are now in the true crime world because the great Manny Grossman had a great documentary on the Son of Sam that was on Netflix last week. The Son of Sam tapes, and I told you how amazing it was, and we got to interview the man who changed it all for the Son of Sam case. So that makes us, I think, almost legitimate true crimer investigators have interviewed one of the best.
Which is great. Yeah. So for all of viewers out there, our dude that we interviewed, Manny Grossman, his Netflix special is out. What was it? What is the title, Cheech?
Um, the Son of Sam tapes, an interview with Hitler, I think it's on Netflix. It's
It's on Netflix. Search up "Son of Sand Tapes" and you'll
yeah,
see the guy we interviewed. So for all our viewers out there and true crime fans, and I saw a little bit of the first episode. It's actually pretty good.
yeah. Manny's in it a lot too. He's in it a lot.
Yeah.
He pops up all over the place. So congratulations, Manny, on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we'll get off the true crime stuff. But Joe, how's it going? How's everything?
Everything is going really well. Glad I could be available for part two.
That's awesome.
Now, and looking forward to the Flaming Lips in New Haven on Friday night. They're going to be touring with Modest Mouse, and they're playing at the Westville Music Bowl.
You
So
know,
that's,
I know the name Modest Mouse. Was that another '90s?
No, Modest Mouse. I don't have their 90s, but they were like a 2000s rock band. They have that song "Float On."
Well, because I know the name. I gotta look them up. I remember the name on.
Mhm.
yeah,
They were popular. That I do remember.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have
Yeah,
that one famous song "Float On," but they're pretty good. Like I think they're 2000s, but they're pretty good.
cool. And I know you love the Flaming Lips, Joe. So that's gonna be great for you.
Flaming Lips
yeah,
is such an interesting band. Like it's their music's interesting. It's like psychedelic, a little. Like, it's hard to
yeah.
describe.
I was surprised to learn that they've actually been performing War Pigs by Black Sabbath since about 2006.
Really?
Yeah, so I was wondering why it sounded so tight when they did it as an encore in Atlanta the other night, first night of the tour. And Wayne Coyne introduced it, saying we've played this before. He goes, we usually just do the verses that you guys can sing along to.
Yeah,
The lead singer from Modest Mouse joined them,
that's
and
awesome.
they rocked it out. They did it very faithfully to the original.
That's amazing. And I
Yeah,
didn't know, and I saw that Joe Cheech, Joe sent that video. I don't know if you saw it.
What was that one?
Their cover.
The cover of
Uh,
which cover?
Flaming Lips covering War Pigs.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to watch it. No, no.
yeah. Well, everyone is doing tributes to Ozzy Osbourne,
How
and
does how
that
does
was Flaming Lips
Field,
tribute to Ozzy.
yeah,
Yeah,
how does Field put out Paranoid? I don't know if you've seen it. I think I sent it to Manny. I don't know if I sent it to you guys.
Really good. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
And I got to say, another great version of War Pigs is Faith No More. They do a killer version of War Pigs.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like War Pigs is such it's like if you're a metal band, you got to do it justice before you call yourself metal. That's
I think my favorite cover though by a band is Planet Caravan by Pantera. They nailed it from the effect on the vocals to the whole. It was a great cover. So yeah, I got to check out the Flaming Lips, man. And
yeah. All you got to do is Google "Flaming Lips" in the news, and because it was the first show of the tour, there's like 6 different online publications that have the video online
yeah.
in their article. Yeah, it was fun.
that's
Nice
awesome.
tribute to Ozzy.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Before we get started, any shout outs to anybody?
I wasn't prepared for a shout out. Well, congratulations to you guys on having so many episodes. You guys must have over 120 hours of commentary in your episodes for the podcast over the last year.
I didn't even think about hours. Yeah, Manny.
We,
That's
we, we do. I know, and it's crazy because we released that fun 50th episode part 1 and 2. It's
yeah,
cool because it's like a commentary on like how we kind of started and
yeah, our
our
backstory.
journey and seeing where we're heading next. So yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched your compilation episode when you were talking about the highlights of the last year and things that you're thinking of doing in the future. And
Yeah.
I'd love to be a part of it. Best drummer seen in concert, or best front man, best singer, bass player.
Dude, you're the Neil Peart, and I'm Getty, and Manny's Alex. So you're
Love
you're a
it.
part of this show.
Yeah, we could
Right?
have a lot of fun with that, with different concert experiences. I know
Oh,
that Manny, being a youngster, he doesn't have as many.
oh, and no, seriously though. I mean, it's crazy because actually, speaking of concerts, I saw, you guys know I saw Styx, which
Mhm.
was, oh my goodness, like there, and then I saw Toto and Christopher Cross and Cheech, talk about our soft rock episode.
Oh, let's see.
It was like a soft rock extravaganza, like Christopher Cross, like
Was he good? Is he still?
he actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously, and
Did
there
he
was
come out like David Lee Roth at the US Festival in 1984 with assless pants on or anything like that?
no, none of that. I mean, I
Uh,
feel like that would be scary. I mean,
yeah, yeah, a 70-year-old man in assless pants. No, thank you.
that is scary. But yeah, Toto like rock. Like
Oh,
I'm forgetting how great a band Toto is.
I have to assume that Joseph Williams is still the lead singer of Toto. His father is John Williams, the famous composer of so many movie soundtracks.
who knew
And
this?
That's
it
insane.
must have been so great to grow up in California, being the son of John, such a famous composer, John Williams,
That
He
because
is,
did,
you're meeting celebrities, and all it was music in their lives.
didn't he do Star Wars, John Williams?
yeah. He's
Yeah, he was like,
that's John Williams, right, Joe? Like the
I
famous.
think so. You name it, he did it. The blockbusters, some of the famous
He
blockbusters.
did Jaws. He did Indiana Jones. He does pretty much all the famous Spielberg movies, and yeah, Star Wars, which is crazy.
and I think the same guy. I remember having a cassette of him playing like Bach on classical guitar.
Hmm. Oh, that must have been
Mm.
amazing.
I just want to give a quick shout out to my boys, Potter's Field, Vincenzo, my favorite guitar player in the world, Bobby, my favorite singer, and Robbie, the man on the drums.
His
So
band.
yeah, we had a lot of fun playing that Paranoid the other night. We are like, we got to do something for Ozzy. So cool. So we'll deep dive
All
into
right, and we're still on side one, right? So let's drop the name
yeah.
of side one, and then we just wrapped up Mozambique. That pronounce that right?
Mozambique.
Mozambique.
Oh, that was the island, right? The vacation island.
Yeah, so we had that. You brought a very interesting point out with that song. But yeah, for all of yours out there, check that out. So now we're heading into one more. I love the song just for the title because I love coffee. But one more cup of coffee, Valley Below. So go ahead, Cheech.
So yeah, this is an interesting one from my research and analyzation.
And you
Uh,
have a lot to say about the theory of the. We were
oh
discussing.
yeah, when I get into the music, I'll explain what he's doing there. So the theme is it's about his trip, Dylan's trip to France, where he met a gypsy tribe and a gypsy king, and he said that the gypsy king said death in his culture is like a good thing. They don't look at it as a bad thing.
Hmm.
They don't they kind of celebrate it when people die, opposed to like most people get sad. They just figure the guy or girl goes on to the afterlife. So basically, it's about a character who's married to a gypsy king's daughter. He's living his life, but he's not happy. He's going through the motions. And I put, well, maybe the guy, maybe he's waiting to die, uh, and you know, and like he wants to leave the girl, he doesn't want to be a part of her life anymore. And for Dylan, this whole album is about Sarah Lowndes, and I think there's a metaphor there for him wanting to leave this woman who's a princess, and this guy's just not happy. It's basically inspired by his trip to France, and he went to a place to get a cup of coffee, and the Gypsy King gave him one cup of coffee, and he left, and he looked at the valley below, and that's the concept I got, lyrically for it. So I
Mm.
don't know how you feel about that. I think hopefully I nailed it.
I also have here in my notes also like a farewell, and speaking about the woman you mentioned, farewell to a mysterious, I wrote here possibly dangerous woman. Like he said
Yeah.
clowns, which is interesting. And then I had here, I don't know what you two think about this too. That was good, Cheech.
Thank-
And I think I got themes here of desire, which by the way, I think it's a major thing because that's what the album's titled.
oh, yeah, that comes up a
Um,
lot.
maybe that's what the cover is. Maybe the character in the song, right? Because
Yeah.
he's dressed in like sort of like gypsy kind of cowboy clothing.
Yeah.
Detachment and then danger. And then I have here like my favorite quote here: "Your heart is like an ocean, mysterious and dark." Definitely
Yeah.
like a dark song, and even the way it sounds. Joe,
Yeah.
Joe, what
It's
do
a
you
dark-
think? What do you think about the song?
It has a timeless quality to it. If you had told me that the song was written 150 years ago, I would believe you.
Mm,
It has that kind of timeless quality to it. Whereas when we go on a little bit further down the road, when we get to Joey, that was a song that was written like 3 or 4 years after the incidents discussed in the song. So
Right.
yeah, so I mean, I look at the lyrics and it's just like it has a timeless quality. It could have been written anytime, any century.
True. True. Very good.
And of course, we know about the covers of it. Robert Plant did it in 2002 on his Dreamland album,
Yep.
and Jack White and the White Stripes covered it on their debut album, which I think was in '99.
mm.
And
And
you wonder why they chose out of all the Dylan catalog.
Isn't that interesting? Especially with the White Stripes, because they start
Yeah.
a little like punk or a kind of like garagey sound,
Yeah.
like I really thought that playing the three songs one after the other, which I did recently, that I was going to like the Robert Plant one the best because he's very atmospheric when he does it. But I like the Dylan version the best. The original was the best. Put
Yeah.
Plant second and Jack White's third.
Mm.
And Plant was always a Dylan fan, right? Even in Zeppelin, did self admitted. Did he say that?
He loves Dylan. Oh, absolutely loves Dylan, and also John Prine. So I mean, the Plant has an appreciation for songwriters.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it's a random Joe. You probably would know this. Who was like the major songwriting influence on Plant?
Tolkien.
Tolkien.
Huh.
Oh, so mix. So I would say I was gonna say because it sounds like Dylan-esque and Tolkien-esque.
Oh, and also oh God, help me, Manny.
The British poets.
Yeah, the most famous oh God, why can't I think of the guy's name? I'm
T.S.
fried.
Eliot,
What's that?
John Coleridge, T.S. Eliot.
No, keep going. He did artwork with his poetry. William Blake.
Oh, William Blake.
Okay.
That's right. I think that's. I think if I were to think about apart from the blues stuff, but when
In
he
Norse, in of course North mythology, that.
wrapped the Plant, yeah, with a touch of Dylan in there, especially on the.
Yeah. Well, Plant, not all the time. Well, all the time, he always knew how to tell a story.
Yeah.
Whether it was about custard pie or Vikings, we knew what he was talking about. So
Until Stairway to Heaven,
oh, then yeah, oh, that's the
Pinnacle.
right? I
greatest
mean,
lyric.
yeah, Plant claims he's embarrassed that he thought the lyrics were immature because of the age of which they were written. He was very young, and he knows that it means different things to different people. And all I took away from Stairway was, there are two paths you can go by. It's never too late to change the road you're on.
That's true. That's very
And
true.
that's like the common sense, what you can learn from the song, which I love. And then we can get into Cheech and Manny territory.
Yeah, yeah.
Go into
Religion.
esoteric mysticism.
Does the girl want to go to heaven? Does she want to stay down here?
What is heaven to the girl too? And like what
Is it materialistic heaven? You know what I mean? Like,
how can you be a rock and how to roll, right?
I mean, we could go crazy. We could do another whole show just on Stairway to Heaven.
Which could be maybe like a future episode idea. Like
Yeah,
take
maybe we should take one Zeppelin song,
artist
epic, and really
like
break.
Ramble On too. Ramble On's
Oh
another
yeah,
very
that,
fascinating song.
yeah.
But going back to this, but yeah, Joe, well said. Cheech, anything else on this song?
Well, I got the music.
Go
And
ahead.
I'm gonna get into the mode you were talking about.
Well, before you do, because I'm definitely this is not my expertise. I have in my notes Middle Eastern scales. It
Yeah,
seems like a foreign song, and
yeah,
then I have Scarlett Rivera's violin, which is central to this.
Yeah, so she's using those modes on there, and she's lucky because she has a thing called quarter tones on the
Hmm.
violin. So there's no frets on the violin, um, and I think she could get those like quarter tones, like on a fretless bass, you know. So she was probably using, I would say, like getting into Egyptian kind of sounds. You have like your harmonic minor, which is really Egyptian, which where you play a minor scale, but you raise the seventh degree. I'm getting my theory nerd geek. Then you have a melodic, then you have a Dorian minor and a melodic minor, and they can all give you those kind of sounds. Also, there's modes. There's the Phrygian mode. There is the Locrian mode. Locrian mode would probably Locrian and Phrygian would give you, they're like diminished where they flat the five, the devil's chord as we talked about. You got
Hmm.
that flat five. So it's gonna give you that dissonance that we don't in this country really. It sounds sour. It sounds like, whoa, that's a mistake, but in other cultures, like if you listen to a sitar or something, there's quarter tones on there because it's fretless, and
Hmm.
it's going to give you that dissonance that helps make music. Dissonance is so important in music. You need that sound. So that's probably what my guess is. She's using the three minor scales that I mentioned in the Locrian, in the Phrygian, especially the Locrian mode. And
Hmm.
she could get a lot more out of it on a violin, than a guitar player could if you really play it, crazy. So that's just my take on it. And I'm sure I have a book of modes, and there's some crazy stuff that, like, I'm just mentioning the ones we use, you know, and this, like, as American rock musicians, but there's crazy stuff. There's harmonic majors. There's like, I guess there's like one called like an Indian mode. You could get John McLaughlin. He is the king of that. You listen to his stuff, Mahavishnu Orchestra. He's all over the Palog diatonic scales where they're five notes and they either flat the fifth degree or the second degree. I forget all their names. I remember the Palog.
Remind me, he played on Miles Davis' Bitches Brew, right?
Yeah, yeah, and the Mahavishnu Orchestra.
Album.
But he was kind of the king of that sound, bringing that to like America, and that kind of sound. And of course, classical musicians used it as well. Like I was having a conversation yesterday with our new friend at the temple, the new guy, this guy Jose, and we were talking about Stravinsky. And Stravinsky is another guy who used all that kind of stuff to get that dissonant sound. And Carl Orff is another guy. The theme that Ozzy Osbourne used to come out to was Carl Orff, and I can't think of the name of it. It has a crazy name. It's that. So yeah, just a little brief history on that. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what they're doing.
But in this song, that's why it gives it that strange, like I know Joe said timeless, it has like a timeless thing to it. It sounds to me also, yeah, I agree. Like it sounds definitely gypsy, and like you ever heard of the that music from Spain, kind of like it has like a some like like Spanish quality to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could bring it. There's a great group called the Gypsy Kings. You
Did
know
they
those,
song?
the Gypsy Kings. You know that group.
Yeah. Did they cover the song?
I don't know if they did, but if you listen to them, you'll hear all this,
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff, and there is that Spanish element. You know, the Locrian mode. When you say Spanish, is interesting. Is it Locrian or Phrygian? That's I'm trying to think. Phrygian. Yeah, it's the Locrian. The bullfight, that dun 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 dun. That's Locrian. That's a flat second. Where normally you have a normal. If you're playing a C scale, C D. Well, in a Locrian, you go C, D flat, E flat. E flat keeps it minor. The D flat gives it that gypsy sound. That bullfight sound. So
Would that be known as flamenco?
flamenco, yep. But in flamenco, it's going to be a little bit more dissonant. But that they use that in that particular sound. So Well, flamenco's about the picking. Those guys are masters at using all their fingers, like a classical musician would, and they use it percussively. You know, like you can hear and they slap the guitar as they're playing it. Pretty amazing stuff. You know, but check out the Gypsy Kings. They're definitely this kind of vibe. But
Anything else on the song?
oh, got a lot. Yeah,
Oh.
Emily Lou Harris sings with it. And now Clapton's on this. And Joe, we talked about this. I don't hear him.
Well, he's actually on the
He's
album.
on. He's on this song. He's playing on this song, but I don't hear Clapton. I don't hear the signature sound.
I didn't think Clapton was on this song. I thought he was on Romance in Durango, and I can't pick him out of that because what made Romance in Durango a little bit unique was that was the first day of the sessions, and there were 21 musicians in that studio, and it was so much, and it was a little bit chaotic. You know, there was no organization.
Yeah.
And Clapton, lay down a part on that song, and it was the only song they used for the album from that first day was Romance in Durango, and Clapton took Dylan aside and goes, there's so many people here. It's you're not going to get the work done. You need to have that core band. And Dylan listened to Clapton, and the rest of the sessions were done with fewer musicians, mostly centered around Scarlett Rivera, Rob Stoner, Emmylou Harris, and Howie Wyeth, the drummer.
You can hear it because I feel like those chaotic sessions were inspired by the Rolling Thunder Review tour or that Inception.
Yeah.
It's really chaotic. And Dylan's like, yeah, let's come on, let's see what we got and just jam. And then just to confirm, Cheech, Joe is right. Eric Clapton played guitar on Bob Dylan's song "Romance in Durango." The only one.
I have in my notes he's on this one
No.
from researching it. I mean, if
Maybe he had a hand in some.
I mean, if you go to this album and you look up musicians, he pops up like on under Wikipedia.
I have "Romance in Durango," but I don't know.
But you don't see it under this song?
No.
Really?
And also, I wouldn't hear his influence though, because that song, it sounds like, I'm not, I love the song. I just hear Dylan, acoustic guitar, Rivera, violin, and Emmylou on the chorus.
Yeah, I mean, what I got was, gypsy style violin solo, a great melodic bass line, which is in there, great chord progressions. So she had a lot of room to do her violin solo over that, and nice drum fills, and just a very long song. And I also had Alan Spencer was on it, the bass player. I don't know. Does it say that on when you look it up? And he was on Jesus Christ Superstar.
Really? Alan Spencer?
Yeah, and Spooky Tooth he was in. And he was in the Grease Band.
Wow, let me see quick. Spencer, right? So here I have no. So Cheech once again only on Romance and Durango.
He's on Romance and Durango. Alan Spencer.
Yes, but not on.
I must have goofed on. I must have put this with that.
And it's cool because like you said, he played on with Joe Cocker, Roxy Music, and the original Jesus Christ Superstar concept album.
Yeah. He's a great player. Sorry about that. I must have got my Dylan songs confused.
Well, from a chronology standpoint, it seems to make sense that there were all these musicians in the studio, which might have worked when Dylan started out with like a Rolling Stone. You had Al Cooper there and all these other musicians.
Oh yeah.
But for this session, Clapton and also Rob Stoner, had to take Dylan aside and say, it's just so many people. We're not getting the work done. And it's interesting that Romance in Durango was the only tune that was usable from that session with all those musicians there. And that once Dylan pared it down to a core group of musicians, they knocked out 5 songs in one day, and they nailed ISIS in one take.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable if you think about it, that they were that, tuned in the zone to knock out 5 songs when they had the core group, which makes me wonder about the chronology of Scarlett Rivera with her relationship with Dylan. Because is it true that the Rolling Thunder tour happened before they recorded the Desire album.
100%.
That's no, that's the thing. It happened before.
Yeah.
So, so the core group of musicians knew the songs. They just
Yeah.
had to knock them out.
Mhm.
And Emmylou Harris was not part of that tour. It was Ronnie Blakely. So she had to get up to speed. She was actually a little dissatisfied with the sessions because it was done so quickly.
I was
And
gonna say, Joe, she
I
was
think
on half.
Emmylou did play on some shows, maybe the Hurricane concerts on some of the live shows, I think. Uh,
But I will say, but she was like, I was read like Joe just confirmed what Joe said. I read that she was kind of disappointed on like even the final vocals. Like she thought it was like rushed and she wasn't satisfied with it because obviously she didn't play on enough. Unlike Scarlett Rivera, who probably had a good time to honor her
yeah,
lines and craft.
well, the Scarlett Rivera story, it makes me really wonder because if she toured with the Rolling Thunder Review, how could she have met Dylan for the first time as Dylan was in a town car going to the studio and Scarlett Rivera was walking the streets of New York City with her violin case? It doesn't make sense if she had already toured with him. So I'm wondering, was the whole thing made up? Is that Rolling Thunder Review backstories with
That's a good
who did
point.
Martin Scorsese, right? He,
could,
he made up fictional things with
Yeah,
Sharon
could be a
Stone.
great.
I'm like, wait a second, because Scarlett Rivera, when she launches into Hurricane, it's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
how much rehearsal had to be done to master her
yeah.
parts? She couldn't have just walked in off the street with
No, I think
musicians she never played with. I think it's a story. I think it's part of the myth of Bob Dylan.
no,
yeah,
no, and it's crazy because Bob Dylan, who Cheech and I and Joe, he makes up all this stuff. Like we don't know if what he's saying is true or if it's not true, but he claims he discovered Rivera in New York City before a rehearsal for his 1975 Rolling Thunder review. So
yeah.
it is on
Okay.
record. It's claimed by him. Uh,
And, and if you ask him, he'll say, "Oh, that was 60 years ago. I don't remember. I have no idea."
yeah, I know.
And
He's,
the
he's
crazy,
like in interviews. He's like, well, that happened a long time ago. It's like, it just leaves at that.
you know,
Do you remember when he first moved to New York City when he was a very young man? He would tell people that he grew up in a traveling circus.
Yep. Joe, did you see the movie? Complete
Yes.
Unknown? Yeah, so that confirmed in real life, and the movie shows that where he tells his girlfriend, I traveled with circuses. And then actually, Bruce Springsteen has this interesting song called "Wild Billy's Circus Story" on the Wild, the Innocent, the E Street Shuffle, which is so Dylan. I feel like he was inspired by that, but
yeah.
I have to figure out how to put two and two together. But
But I think also on the Rolling Thunder Review, the fall tour, the album Desire wasn't out yet.
no,
So
no.
that audience was getting all these new songs without even knowing them, which is like, it's notorious for Dylan to do. I know people that went to the Capitol and saw him and he didn't play one hit,
Yeah.
and to me, I've never liked when bands did that. I know Maiden does it a lot, but Maiden's gonna put you in the
Geez, that's
second
funny
half.
though. Geez, I'm reading Bob Dylan's Chronicles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He actually gives a pretty compelling answer.
Oh,
He,
I would like to know. Yeah.
yeah, why he doesn't sing, let's say, his 60s stuff, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He claims that he doesn't know how to sing those songs anymore. Like
Really?
yeah, so and especially during this time period, and especially I'm kind of like three quarters in the book in the 80s when he was touring with Tom Petty, he was doing songs that the audience didn't want. And he claims in the book that I just don't know how to sing those songs anymore. I really don't. And it's I don't know if he's being Dylan, I don't know, but he claims that those 60s hits and all those the songs that it's just he doesn't know how to like in his head like conceptualize them to sing them. Like
Interesting.
very strange individual. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
why
I
he does that.
mean, it's so cool to see Dylan, but like maybe his newer stuff is not gonna compare to any of the classic hits. Like I said, Maiden did it because they just wanted to do new. Steve Harris is like, I have a new album out. You're gonna hear it, and then you'll hear the hits. Once I play 5, 6 songs off the new album, then the hits come. I understand. I get that. You want to play your new music. probably bored to death of playing Run to the Hills. You know what I mean? After all these years and stuff.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
imagine Dylan like even being bored of playing Knocking on Heaven's Door, or whatever, a billion trillion times, so
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I got on the music. Any comments on that?
I think we're ready to move on. I love the song because of coffee. It's association. And I always sing it every time, like when I'm like, one more cup of coffee before I go.
Yeah.
It's a great song. All right. When does side two start on this album?
Joey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last song on side one, Cheech, Oh Sister, it's
Oh,
actually one of my favorites.
yeah. This is
Oh,
a couple different. I mean, this is what I got from it. So, uh, I mean, is it about your sister? Yes, it could be.
Or it
You
could
know,
be a nun too, by the way.
yeah. About what?
Nun.
Who?
A nun.
Oh, I didn't even think.
That's what
oh,
I figured out because this song in my before just because you obviously did more research, but these are notes that I kind of wrote when I was listening to it. I have themes of gender, religion, and vulnerability. And
I
this is oh,
I got
Sister,
similar ones.
Dylan's talking to a nun.
Human kindness. From brother to sister. It might be about siblings. It might not be about siblings. Can it be about meeting a stranger who that nun could be? I also dug deep and I thought maybe it was about Joan Baez because there is heartbreak and love. There's purpose, direction, sorrow, and he makes you think about the lyrics. And I really think it's really up to you to decide.
Mm,
I don't think there's a clear what this song is about exactly.
mm. Yeah, and I have here also plea for connection. And like you said, a stranger, but maybe possibly spiritual or familial, right? She's looking
Yeah,
some sort of
yeah.
connection. And then
But
I have here, I don't know what you guys think of this. Is this a spiritual lament or a personal apology? Like you said, maybe it's apology to Joan Baez. uh,
yeah,
the quote here, we grew up together from the cradle to the grave. So it's like he's talking about somebody that he's known for.
Wait, does he have a sister?
That's a good question. I
That's
don't
a. I don't think he has a sister.
know. And if anything, I think the song is more he's talking to a nun or some sort of religious person.
Yeah, that I didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
I think this is one of Dylan's. I don't know if you guys would agree with this. It's this song for me. It's like so emotional. Like I love it, and
Yeah,
this is possibly one of the best duets that I've ever
I
heard with
have
anyone.
that. Yeah,
I
beautiful.
love the way her voice. It's like it's with
Got
Dylan.
such a beautiful voice. The two things about this album that stand out, three things. Well, Emmylou Harris and Dylan singing together, like, two different styles of vocals that they almost don't fit, but they fit. You know what I mean? Like putting a square into a circle, but getting it in there. And then the concept that's never ever been done, I think, in music ever: harmonica and violin playing together.
Mm,
I mean, I'm sure in the like blues style harmonica and blues, violin, fiddle. I mean, fiddle, yes, but this is like melodic harmonica and violin being played together, and that's what stands out for me. Um, I love the groove. It's a very sad, slow song. Beautiful duet. To me, it almost has a knocking on heaven's door vibe. I
it does.
don't know.
It does. Yeah, both songs are. I love when Dylan tackles religion, and I think this song, and you can take it many ways, and there's something emotional in the song. Like I love the way he also Dylan sings, like "Oh sister," like he's like pleading, like he actually acts it out, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's singing.
And I got the violin and harmonica together. Like I said, I don't think no one's ever done that. Nice musical change in the middle. There's like a bridge kind of thing. Then back to the last verse, and it ends with harmonica and violin. Which is pretty amazing. If you think about it, I can't think of anyone who's ever done that.
Mm.
So Great song. Joe, any comments on that?
Emmylou Harris is just fantastic.
Oh,
It was the only overdub. It was done the next day. She overdubbed because I guess they weren't happy with the original laying down of the track, and you can tell. I mean, she's not doing backing vocals. That's a duet. She is just as prominent on that song vocally as Dylan.
oh
I
yeah.
she is the secret sauce. Her and Scarlett Rivera of the whole album. They
Uh,
make it. They make it unique to anything else
I
that Dylan's
agree.
done.
I agree. And then we're gonna talk about I think one of the best songs, and I think one of the best Dylan duets, next to this one maybe, but her duet in Romance and Durango is it's amazing. You're right. It's like Cheech, you're saying, like their voices you wouldn't think they would match, but they do.
yeah.
Weird.
That's Dylan. That's the absurdity of the guy. Like, why would he even ask her to be on the album? Thinking like, well, I'm not really a great singer. You know what I mean? But he's like, I'm gonna sing with Emmylou Harris, who at the time was one of the biggest, stars in the world and stuff. And then have a crazy violinist on there, where violin is not a rock instrument. I mean, Charlie Daniels took it to the next level, but in a fiddle. You know,
Right, right.
this is a violin, like
No,
classic.
you're right. Incorporating violin and like rock. I mean, folk it kind of makes sense maybe, but in rock it's kind of difficult.
I mean, Kansas did it amazing. Kansas, like Dust in the Wind and Left Overture. I forget the guy's name. The guy was a killer rock violinist. There was there's a,
Kansas did it. Yeah, you're right.
what am I saying? John-Luc Ponte. He's one of the greatest rock violinists, in the world.
But you know what it is, but it's different from Rivera because Rivera, it's like the third voice. It's prominent. It's not
But
that prominent in Kansas all over the album, just maybe on a few songs.
yeah, it's like Bruce Springsteen and a saxophone.
Exactly. It just gives color. But this one, like Joe's saying, it's like and what you said before. This is the violin is right up in center, and it actually makes the album, which
And you got to understand, a violin is a voice. It's a cello and a violin. To me, it sounds like the human voice.
yeah, yeah,
How it resonates. So this is like a third harmony. It's like a harmony going against that. So it's genius. The guy's a freaking genius, man. I mean,
uh,
who would have
uh,
thought of this?
he knows how to. It's crazy because Dylan's one of those geniuses that he changes music. He changes like the music scene, like
Yeah.
which is crazy. But anything else on this, gentleman?
Yeah, I
No.
got one thing. I really wish I was a fly on the wall when Robert Plant listened to this album because I think it planted a seed with him in the early 2000s of teaming up with a female singer. And of course, in 2006, got together with Alison Krauss. And then after that, when he brought back the Band of Joy, he had Patty Griffin.
Mhm.
And even now, today, he has Susie Dean from England performing. So
I
uh,
agree. Yeah.
I think he was looking at, or listening to Desire with Emmylou Harris and Dylan and going, hey, there's a possibility there.
Oh yeah. And it goes back to Battle of Evermore. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He entertained the idea. I think Dylan's success on this probably made him think, like years later, I could make this work. Pair up with a country singer or whatever, that it'll work.
Oh
Like
yeah.
confidence. And I heard those albums are really good. Like they're well made and amazing. So
Definitely.
The Robert Plant albums?
yeah, some of the solo ones, some of his best
Yeah.
solo work.
Well, the first one, Raising Sand, got 6 or 7 Grammy Awards. So that was unbelievable. And I think that they got recognized for the production values.
Hmm.
It had a very warm sound to it. I would not doubt at this point that Robert Plant has been teamed up with a female singer for more years than he was in Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Because he's done solo tours in between Alison Krauss and the Band of Joy when he really had a rocking band called the Sensational Space Shifters.
Hmm.
They actually had an African violinist for one of the tours.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. Really
So
changed the sound.
so he definitely listened to Desire.
We definitely
Oh, I
took
think so.
notes.
Yeah. I think it's required listening for someone like a Robert Plant.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is such a influential album that I think it gets overlooked. I don't think enough people talk about it.
Well, the problem is that it follows. I'll be honest with you. I feel like there's two types of people: those that love Blood on the Tracks,
Hmm.
which came before this. In the middle, there's the band mixtapes, of course, but
Yeah, which is crazy, which is all over the place.
but that's its own thing. I feel like that's more like a bootleg thing that got an official release.
Yeah,
But I don't know. So usually you have Blood on the Tracks versus Desire because both are very different.
yeah,
And actually, one was inspired by, according to Dylan, and Anton Chekhov's short stories, right?
right.
And there's a heartbreak thing to it, and that's considered his pinnacle by many people. I would actually put myself up there. But then you have Desire, which is a totally sort of different thing, and Dylan is trying a lot of kind of new things on this album, like stuff for example, having a co-author,
Oh, that's right. Jocks.
interesting thing, and the themes. It's what there's a lot of interesting political themes on the album too that are so obvious. Like I feel like it's interesting. Like Dylan, I don't know, maybe he took a backseat and focused on the
Yeah,
music. I
it's
don't
a
know.
good point. Like Jocks Levy, he wrote the next song we're going to talk about. Actually,
Because
Joe.
it's a good bridge to it, right? So the
Yeah,
next
it's a great.
one is
Yeah.
now we're on side two. Is the epic 11-minute epic storytelling ballad Joey.
Yeah.
I have your cheat before you go because I know you have a lot of notes on this, but
Oh God, yeah.
mobster Joey Gallo, and he's portrayed sympathetically. And I have here why controversy because it's the glorification of a criminal, which I'm not mad about the song for that because I feel like movies like
Goodfellas.
Fellas, the show Sopranos.
To me, anytime you educate somebody on something, like Nebraska, it was an education for me about Starkweather. About Charlie Starkweather. So you learn about these things. I think it's an education. If you were a mob historian like my dad, I was playing him Joey and talking about it. My dad knew all about Joey Gallo. The guy was up to no good. He was doing something real shady in the mafia that you don't do. I'll explain that.
Mm.
But it's okay. I think it's great to glorify people like that because you want to teach people, look at all the cowboys and outlaws out there, like Doc Holliday and John Wesley Harding. Yeah, they were pretty evil people, but they're interesting.
Yeah, and I think Dylan is like a master of that, like where he can glorify certain outlaws. And it's crazy because I think he saw, I know he denies it, but I think he saw something of himself in this dude. Like I I know he co-wrote it with Jacques Levy, and Jacques Levy, obviously being a psychologist,
Yeah,
definitely, man, that's why I love Martin Scorsese because, like you said, what he offers is, let's say, like the movie Goodfellas. You see, for example, like how Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci's character are sort of like father figures to the young
and
mafia.
Hill.
So there's some sympathy there, but then you kind of realize, but like you said, there's stuff to learn because the world that's created of this is
Yeah,
kind of violence and
the
and corrupted.
same thing in the Bronx Tale,
Hmm.
where the kid thinks his father is like a loser because he's like a bus driver, but Chaz, what's his last name? Uh, the guy in the Bronx Tale, Chaz Palminteri is God to this kid because he's the ringleader of the mob. So like you could see that kind of thing in that.
And one more thing just to think about. Dylan claims that Levy wrote all the words of this song, so he doesn't take any credit.
I don't believe that.
No, and this contradicts what some an earlier interview too. But yeah, so I guess Dylan doesn't look fondly on this song.
Yeah, but then if he didn't like it, he wouldn't have put it out. You know what I mean? I think if it was something that he was against, he would. I don't think he would have put it out. I think it's a great song. And you know, so Joey Gallo, mobster, in his life and his death. So he was killed on his birthday in the Bronx. And the song is co-written, as you said, with Jacques Levy. This is I hope I don't mess this up because there's a lot to it. He was also accused of 2 murders and convicted of other felonies. So he did prison, before. The songs gives him credit for being a good family man, trying to protect his family. He was an educated man, and supposedly one of his best friends was an Afro American guy. Um, he was very cultured, but the problem with Joey Gallo was he got greedy. And in the mafia, if you want to move up, you got to do this, but you got to have people on your side. But he didn't have people on his side. So he was a part of the Colombo family, and he wanted to be the boss. So he was plotting to kill the boss. And he did. He actually killed the boss of the Colombo family. But what happened is, once they found out that he did this, they put a hit on him. And he was killed in front of his family at a restaurant in the Bronx. I think these are some quotes from the lyrics. God allows humans to act out as they want to, but intervenes with grave injustice. Someday, God in heaven overlooking his preserve, I know a man that shot him down will get what he deserves. Jock Levy. So that's just, and I got some information from my dad, who is the mob historian on this. And my dad remembers when this happened, actually, happened in the Bronx in like 1973. So it wasn't that far from when this album came out.
Mhm.
So I think he's given him sympathy as being a good guy, good family guy, that kind of thing. But at the same time, he's a ruthless killer, like all those guys were. You watch any mob movie, they go to church on Sunday. They're good to their kids, they're good to their family, but they're out, shooting people and murdering people. So, any comments on that on that story or anything?
Joe, what's your view of this song?
Well, it reminds me of The Sopranos for sure,
Yeah,
with the idea of the family man, in the morning with his family having breakfast, and
yeah,
then by afternoon he's had to do something brutal, brutal.
yeah.
You know, so it's an interesting topic.
And I told my story. I think um, maybe maybe on the Bruce Springsteen one on Nebraska.
Mm.
I told you, Manny, my mob story.
I think so, yeah.
Just when I was a kid, there was just, won't say any names, but this kid who lived in Rye Brook. He was super rich. We became friends. I'd go to his house like 1980, 81. He had a mansion, house, big screen TV. I was like, oh my God. He had MTV before we had it. But I'd sleep over there, and at night his father would be coming home 5 in the morning, literally cleaning out the back of his trunk. And I remember asking him, like, "What's your dad do for a living?" "Oh, he works nights." And then years later, he got arrested in White Plains, New York, for being a hitman. So I was friends with the guy's father, who was a hitman. That's my mob story.
Yeah.
So
My understanding of the relationship with Jock Levy and Bob Dylan was that Levy wrote the lyrics, but Dylan was the idea man for the whole album. But it's true that I guess Dylan caught so much flack for glorifying Joey Gallo that he finally just said, "Hey, I didn't write the words; I just sang them." So
yeah,
he kind of distanced himself from it. But from what I understand, they did the song live, so it wasn't like Dylan turned his back on the song very
yeah,
long. And where else can you find a song lyric that name checks Con Edison Power Company?
yeah,
It's very much a song of the 20th century.
yeah.
Very.
And Springsteen did one on Nebraska, and I can't remember the name, Manny, about a mobster. Oh no, no, oh, about a guy, New Jersey. Oh no,
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. Yeah, I keep saying New Jersey. Atlantic City. It's
Yeah,
simple.
I think it's obvious that Springsteen will be inspired by songs like this, and to sing about these characters. And it's crazy how he got flagged because The Godfather came out, and that in a sense was kind of glorifying that a little bit.
Yeah,
Godfather Part Two, and then maybe this song joins. But you know what it is? The controversy is within and I actually got in an argument with one of my friends about this, but can art separate myth from moral judgment? So in other words, like, you have a character like mobster Joey Gallo, who obviously is a villain, right?
hmm
And it's crazy just to think about. Another quote from the song I had here is Dylan keeps singing, "What made them want to come and blow you away?" Right? So, because I guess he portrays the mobster as a victim, right? And so, Dylan using his art is separating, myth from like, but not really giving moral judgment. So I don't know how you feel
A
about.
lot of people did it. Sorry, there's like a giant machine coming. But you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, because no, I'm just gonna end with like, because today a character like Mobster Joey Gallo would not be looked at with sympathetic eyes. And I'm just saying like what
Yeah.
the world today. Any character that is morally compromised, like Joey Gallo, is not looked at. And a lot of artists get flack or controversy when they try to sort of mythologize and then kind of not pass moral judgment. And it happens to a lot in the art world. It's actually a controversy. Like if the artist, for example, another one is that the artist is morally compromised. Do we
Yeah.
still hold his art in a high degree?
Well, I'll give you a great example, and it kind of put him as a Satanist. Ozzy, Mr. Crowley.
No, but Ozzy's not a Satanist.
He's not, but when
No,
he's
did you hear about this? Like he confirms he was Catholic and kind
oh
of.
yeah, yeah. Ozzy didn't even write the song. Bob Daisley did, but he's singing about Mr. Crowley, Aleister
Oh,
Crowley.
suicide solution, right? He's not. That's
And that,
another.
you know what that song's about? Bon Scott. So like it's like Mr. Crowley was sort of just uh, words about the guy didn't even like make a lot of sense. He just made up stories about him. Great lyrics, by the way, by Bob Daisley. And Bob Daisley also wrote Suicide Solution about his friend Bon Scott, who had just passed away. You know, so there's songs that oh my God, that's horrible. They say suicide.
People have a hard time with that, and that's why people like Ozzy were facing legal issues, and it has to do with like I'm telling you right now. Today, though, like a song like this will not fly by. Like it's definitely like it's a song of its time. Um,
Yeah,
it's great. I love it, but it's just sad how the song sometimes and also the other thing, my thing about the song that I think it's a bad thing is that it's too long. Like I
it's
feel like it could have
like 11 minutes, right?
I don't know, I feel like it's undeservedly too long. Like it could have been shortened and maybe either add another two great songs, or maybe extend some of the best ones. Like I feel like Oh Sister could have been a little bit longer, or even Romance and Durango, which I think is one of the most compelling songs. Like I
Yeah,
feel like the song's too long too for its own good.
yeah. And I have you great hits in the intro. Nice effect on the drums. There's like a drum effect on there. Great drum beat. It almost has a John Bonham drum beat. That's what I kind of got from it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like an echo, like
Yeah, it's like a Bonham feel. Slow groove. There's accordion in it with the violin. Great vocals, great story. Nice chorus. There's mandolin in it in the back. And it has a really nice production on it.
very
Almost,
cinematic.
almost has a Zeppelin vibe to it. Am I crazy?
Joe, what do you think about that? I feel like it has a more Billy Joel vibe.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the drums.
I did not make that connection.
No, I didn't either.
I'm thinking of the think about the drums on the song though. It has like a just like a bottom thing to it, at least to my ears. It has a lot of power to it. Not that he was listening to Zeppelin, but
Wait, did we ever talk? Did Dylan ever listen to Zeppelin? Like, I don't think he did.
well, I sent you a video of him talking to a couple of like metal kids.
Oh, you're right. But he kind of was the little. Oh, you listen to Zeppelin? Ah, that's cool. Like,
And no, he was like, "You kids like Ozzy Osbourne?" And they're like, "Yeah, we love Ozzy." And this is in the '80s. And he's like, "What about the band Rat?" And I'm like, Dylan is talking about Rat and Ozzy. So he was listening. His ears were perked up on metal. You know, he knew about that stuff. Um, so why do I have?
just and Cheech, just timing wise, 2:27. So
Yeah, we got Romance Durango up
2
next.
minutes left. Yeah. So let's head next into any last things on this song or
I think we covered it. You know, it's a mob. It's basically about a mobster glorifying
pretty
like
much good. It's pretty much good.
Goodfellas, Sopranos, The Bronx Tale,
I
Casino.
love no, and I love mobster stuff.
Are
So
the
this stuff
best. They're the best movies. You know.
it's compelling. But all right. Next one is Romance and Durango, which is like this. I consider this one of the best Dylan songs of all time. That's a hot take. And
Yeah.
we go into it. I have here a fugitive love story in Mexico.
Hmm.
I have here cinematic. Actually, speak about flamenco. It's flamenco influenced.
Hmm.
So interesting. Spanglish. Dylan and Emmylou Harris are singing in Spanish, which I appreciate. It has vivid visuals and has a great emotional core. And once again, these are outlaws. They're not technically good people, but
Once again, the dark side of life. You know.
and
Now,
this
he's singing.
no,
His,
and one more thing before I forget, this reminds me like a Springsteen song.
yeah.
Think about that. It has, Rosalita?
Yeah. Yeah.
It has a similar sound to it. Now, I don't know if it has to do with like the Latin, influence in it,
Yeah.
but and then I have here this is Dylan's fascination with Latin culture, which I did not know, and I keep forgetting that he loves an outlaw romance. And then I love the chorus here. No llores, mi querida, Dios nos vigila. It's
What does that mean?
don't cry, my love or my dear, God will protect us.
Now, did you pick up on it that he killed his best friend
Yeah.
and the laws after him for that?
Yeah, because he goes and again the lyrics are it kind of like reads like it kind of like you hear it as sort of like a movie.
Yeah, well, I put that in. It's crazy. There's a movie called Barbarossa for you Willie Nelson fans out there. Oh, you got to be a hardcore outlaw
Yeah.
cowboy guy like me. And Joe, have you ever seen Barbarossa?
No, not yet.
It's a Willie Nelson movie. He plays a cowboy. It's like a classic movie, and I thought of that movie when I heard the song. You know, he didn't kill his best friend in it, but he definitely, there were girls and stuff in it. Uh, it's just I recommend it if you like westerns. Barbarossa with the great Willie Nelson, who's friggin'
Hmm.
genius.
Wow. And then I have here at night I dream of bells in the village steeple. Then I see the bloody face of Ramon, which I think is the brother, right? And he says, "Was it me that shot him down in the cantina? Was it my hand that held the gun?" And then he has to leave. But it's yeah, another outlaw song.
Yeah, it's in D major, has a Spanish feel. I love the trumpets and the percussion.
And the accordion, right? Isn't there a nice accordion?
Accordion in there. He
Really
used
nice.
he used 20 musicians and backup singers on this.
I hear it.
Now
It's
I do have Eric Clapton on this one,
yeah.
right? Yep. And then Alan Spencer, you said. Emmylou Harris, great bass line by Alan Spencer because he is such a great bass player. Uh, nice guitar and violin. Um, nice duet. I love the Spanish chorus, and you said Spanglish.
Yeah.
Trumpets. Great story, beautiful song. And I put, I wonder if, Barbarossa might have been influenced by this. And there is accordion, and there's mandolin and accordion in it as well. So I know we're on limited time, so we'll move to
So,
Black Diamond Bay.
Joe, any thoughts on this song, "Romance in Durango"? What do you think of it?
I think we covered it, because it was the only song that was from that first day's session, and I just can't hear Clapton in it. I have to listen more closely.
I would be curious what I'm guessing some of the guitar lines because I hear some guitar lines on that song, but
Not Clapton's signature. That's one problem I've always had with Dylan, even with the band on basement tapes and other stuff.
he doesn't. He doesn't
He doesn't let anybody do
know,
more than like 2 bars of a solo.
which is a shame. It's like when he had Mike Bloomfield on those sessions on Highway 61 Revisited. His guitar lines are some of the best things on that album, and
But they're in the background and they're more of a filler, not just like an actual ripping solo that give the guy like a minute. A minute is a long time, give him 30 seconds.
actually, I'll be honest with you. This is just off the fly thinking. I don't think there's much guitar solos in Dylan songs, apart from a few, but it's not prominent.
No, no, it wasn't his thing. It was all harmonica.
It's all
Yeah,
folk sound.
yeah. And of course, violin on this album, but mainly harmonica and organ. He had some,
Yeah,
and even like Al Cooper, going back to Bring It All the Way Back Home and Blonde on Blonde and stuff. Like Al Cooper was well, Blonde on Blonde was out. Wait, what was the one in between? Uh,
bring it all back
Highway
home.
61 Revisited, right? That's Bloomfield, right? I get.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Cooper was on.
And Al Cooper. Al Cooper should have done more ripping organ solos. And
And it's crazy because talk about the chaotic sessions. He just shows up, starts playing, and Dylan's like, "Oh yeah, I like
yeah,
this."
yeah. And that's a true story. That's definitely true.
And you're right. And no offense, he should have been that organ should have been more prominent on that
It
album.
should have been. But I guess for Dylan, like a lot of people say, oh, I always play bass for the song that fits the song. Dylan was all about the song. The song was everything, and everything else was filler, and he had to throw his harmonica in there. That had to be a big part of it. So, but yeah, it's a great
Oh,
song.
as an aside, I showed this song to a Spanish speaking person without knowing much about Bob Dylan. And the part where he says, no llores, me, like, he was like, wait, is he Spanish? I was like, no.
Yeah,
But this person was impressed with the Spanish. So
that's cool. Yeah, yeah.
out to
And I
Dylan.
don't, I don't think anybody was doing that.
Spanish is on point too.
I mean, Santana was doing it, but he could do it. He was Mexican, it's expected.
Talk about a dream match in heaven. Santana and Dylan.
Wonder
Ma-
why it never happened.
Imagine the magic.
Well, he probably would. Santana's got a solo. Santana's got a rip. So
No,
that's
that's
not.
something. But you know how those opposites, Dylan's really good at combining opposites.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like there's something that could have worked.
yeah. Very true. This one, I love the story, and I think I got it. I think I got the story. Black Diamond Bay. Jacques Levy, I believe, co-wrote it. It took 12 takes to record. There's craziness in it. There's absurdity in it. There's a woman with a Panama hat, a suicidal Greek man, a soldier, a unsuccessful gambler, all located on. I'm gonna say it wrong. I don't know, Manny. I don't want to be a pervert, but Titular Island, Titular,
T-I-T?
Ular, Titular Island.
Titular? Titular?
Yeah, and it's during a natural disaster, and that natural disaster is going to be a volcano that's soon about to erupt. Now, the genius of this isn't a guy singing about it. It isn't a guy talking about it. It is a guy who is reading what I just said to you guys about in the newspaper. So you get that concept?
No. That's and just just want to say my notes because you got it. It's cool. It's a meta narrative because it's a story within a story,
Yeah.
shifting viewpoints. And that's first of all, the song is catchy. It's actually
Yeah. It's a great song.
no, it's Dylan back to his absurd roots where he takes these topics and just it's kind of similar to like Bob Dylan's 115 Dream, right? With the the sailor that shows up in America and like
Yeah.
kind of similar to that. where it's a story within a story, and it's interesting. Lyrically, this song is very fascinating. And
Yeah.
I think it's his commentary on media detachment, you know? So, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
I
And
just love that concept. He's reading about it in the newspaper,
that's a
all,
great
all the shit I just said, and it's not being sung about it in the first person. It's a guy reading it, which is so cool. I think that's genius. I don't know of anyone who's ever done that before. I was trying to research that, that
no,
kind
no, it's a common thing, Cheech, but I just feel like in
of
Dylan's case,
like in a popular song. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think like
it could be around, but maybe Dylan popularized it, but it's definitely a thing. I know some songwriters do this story within a story element.
yeah. Um,
And it's
it,
a satire, by the way, I think, too.
it was taken from a book called Victory
Hmm.
by Joseph Conrad. The idea anyway.
Hmm.
Nice funky. It's funky. It has a nice funky groove up tempo, fast drums, harmonica, and violin together. Uh, you know, playing those lines, and they're very complicated. The lines are complicated in this. Nice bass line. Emmylou Harris sings the lines with Dylan. Great drum hits. Great pre-chorus. Nice, nice change. I love the crazy story and concept. It's 7 minutes long. It ends with violin and harmonica playing together. Just a great, great song. And a great that concept. I just blew my mind away because I never really thought of those things in the song.
Well, and at first listen, you don't really hear it. This is an example where you actually have to look at the lyrics, pay attention, and then you realize it's a story within the story, and there's shifting viewpoints.
Yeah, I'm sure Rush did it at one point. You'd have to pick out.
I don't know if Rush did it. Well, maybe with um the camera eye, because that's what it's kind of about.
Yeah. Oh, the lens, looking through the lens. That's
And
good. That is a great
um,
point. Yeah.
looking
What?
in, no, looking through the lens between London and New York, which is
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. That's so true. And like, what different person could see different things through a camera eye in their imagination. All right. So I know we got it.
Joe, anything on Black Diamond Bay?
The one thing I noticed was that at the end of the verses, they almost sing like staccato, very, very fast, to the point where you can't really make out what the words are. They're spitting out the words at the end of some of the verses,
Yeah.
which might explain why they had to do a lot of takes.
Yeah. I think it was, how many takes did I
Uh,
say?
no, Joe. No, I agree with that.
12. It was 12 takes.
No, you know what it is? The song is fantastic, but first of all, it starts fast. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't. It just begins with the harmonica solo and then and just goes. And I feel like it doesn't let up.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 it just keeps going, which for me, that I could see why it took so, like Joe said, a lot of takes to nail it.
Yeah. And I know the next one, me and Joe talked about it. Joe, you before I break it down, I think you know pretty much a lot about the song. Joe, you want to like give a shot at what you think Sarah's about?
It's probably one of Dylan's most personal songs ever, and he really does paint a picture that I could follow because a lot of Dylan, goes over my head. But on this one, he's basically paints just a wonderful picture of family life, really, and how
Yeah,
much he loves his wife, but knows that Sarah's going to leave him. And I found it very interesting that on the day that he recorded this in the studio, Sarah was present.
yeah,
Yeah, that's that. I remember when I was reading. I don't know where I got this idea of what you just said, but I discovered this album like during late high school, I think senior year, and that's one of the rock facts that the wife was present during the recording. It's like one of these legendary stories.
yeah,
I think Sarah filed for separation or divorce the following March
Mm.
after the album
And
came
that's
out.
yeah, because I have here, Joe. No, it's notable because this was recorded while their marriage was falling apart, so it hadn't fallen apart yet. And I have here is very. It's probably Dylan's most autobiographical song. I feel like everything he gives you the answers. And I have a quote here. Staying up for days in the Chelsea hotel. Cheech, you'll love this too. Staying up for days in the Chelsea hotel, writing "Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands" for you. Like
Wow.
Juan, so obvious. Then he gives you the answer what that's who that song was about.
And Chelsea Hotel was notorious. That was the spot where everybody went.
Mhm.
You know, Sid
I
Vicious. Sid Vicious died in that
Yeah.
hotel. No. Nancy died in that hotel. I'm sorry.
But I like how he's on the beach in Portugal and he's watching the kids playing in the sand and they got the seashells and they're trying to bring the seashells up the hill towards him and the seashells kind of like go through their hands and they drop some of them. So obviously the children were very small; they were very young.
Yeah.
Uh, so he's watching the kids in this, painting a picture of family life, but he knows that Sarah is becoming distant.
Yeah.
She's going farther and farther from him.
Yeah.
I will say as a quick aside, if you guys read Chronicles, he gives um and Cheech, we talked about why he disappeared. I'll be honest with you, there's a reason why he disappeared, and it was rightfully so. Everyone wouldn't leave him and his family alone.
Yeah.
Media, the press. He said that when they were living in Woodstock, they had people, all sorts of people, hippies, nihilists, come to his house and demand that Dylan the Messiah come out and be their spokesperson. They
Oh
would
my God.
trash his house, and Dylan was noticing the strain it was having on his family. And he says that all I wanted in life was to have a nice picket fence, a nice house, some roses.
Yeah.
He says that in the book.
Yeah.
So, and it's sad because that's one of his fame is actually one of the contributing factors of why his marriage will end up falling apart.
Yeah. I mean, it happens to a lot of people. Look, I mean, not to keep bringing him up, but Ozzy's first marriage to Thelma. Then I mean, Ozzy was whacked out of his mind, but it destroyed a family in a marriage. So it could do that to people. So. But any musically, quick, we got 15 minutes.
Got the organ right up in front, right?
Oh, yeah, the organ, harmonica. It has nice cymbal hits, nice bass and drums, pretty long intro,
Hmm.
slow, powerful groove. Get once again, nice violin, great catchy chorus. There's so much passion in the vocal performance. Great, amazing story. The violin is playing a counter melody with the harmonica, and not much more to say. I think we nailed it. Joe nailed it.
I agree with the chorus is so compelling where he's like Sarah, oh Sarah, like
Yeah,
so he's that's from the soul, man.
yeah. I think that might have been one. One of. I mean, he had three different muses. But I think that might have been the one he loved the most. Maybe because he had children with her and stuff.
Oh
I
no,
wonder. We talked about Jacob. I wonder. What his take on this was. Did it?
that's a I never
Jacob Dylan.
Jacob Dylan.
All I know about Jacob Dylan is the few interviews that I've seen where he discusses his father is he felt that Bob Dylan was a good father or tried to be.
Well, and that's confirmed by his own words in Chronicles, where he was a good father and he spent a lot of time with his family. That he says that he cherished them now more than anything during this whole period.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You wouldn't think because you still associate him as a rock star or something, but he
Yeah.
was a good family man. He was so good to his wife and children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He was. And
Cheech.
I give
No, I was gonna
Jacob
say Cheech.
Dylan. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I give Jacob Dylan a lot of credit for even doing that stuff he did in the '90s. I liked his.
Wallflowers, right?
Yeah, I like that band. I thought they were cool. But to try to even attempt to be a singer songwriter and your father's Bob Dylan, it's very few people could get away with it. Of course, Jason
You have to
Bonham.
be in the same circumstances,
Yeah,
as Dylan was in order to become a Dylan.
yeah,
But yeah, in his own right, I mean, he is strike. He did do some cool stuff.
yeah. He had some cool. He came out at a right time too, because it was like after grunge. It was like that melodic Matchbox 20 era.
Common
You know,
Crow,
Jim Blossoms and all that kind of great music from that era. I guess you'd almost say post grunge,
yeah.
that kind of thing. So so we're good on that.
Well, in the last comments.
Well, just one last thing. I was going to ask Cheech if he thought that the musical pacing of Sarah was kind of like a waltz.
Well,
That's what I took away from it. I think it's like a waltz.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it has like that 4/4 sound, waltz sound, Cheech.
yeah, waltz would be 3/4. Yep.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so
Two,
you
three, 1, 2, 3, bow, banana, down, down, down,
how
down,
about a sound?
down. Yeah, that's a
Dun,
yeah,
dun, 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 dun.
yeah. Waltz was God. It was such a famous dance. I think Strauss, the composer, 1800s. He's the waltz master. He wrote a lot of waltzes.
And that makes sense with the song because Sarah's like a romantic plea and ode, like a waltz, right? Like it
Yeah,
like I picture him and Sarah dancing to the song.
yeah, yeah.
Him, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, It's a great, analogy. And
Mhm. And I guess any final thoughts?
well, let me just do the cover. This was interesting. So supposedly a guy named John Berg, who's a designer who helped Dylan with his look, denies that John Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas wore the same exact stuff, a felt hat. What did Dylan have in this? He had uh, he had a scarf,
Yeah, he has a nice
felt hat.
overcoat, scarf. He looks
Yeah,
well dressed. He looks pretty cool.
and
And it's yeah, like some sort of like cool looking hat.
yeah, and John Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas did an album where he had the same kind of look.
Yeah.
So there was kind of like, and John Phillips was earlier, but Dylan was unaware that in the guy who whatever you want to call it, the designer said he did not steal from him. The picture was taken from the first night of the Rolling Thunder Review. It was the first picture out of 10,000 photos on the tour. And who took the picture? Ken Reagan took the picture.
Hmm.
Just a simple picture with the hat, the scarf, the full, the shoulder jacket. Very simple Dylan cover, and
Anything that person on the cover, who obviously is Dylan, could be a character in Romance and Durango or the character from One More Cup of Coffee before I go, because it has he's dressed like a cowboy gypsy.
yeah, that
And
makes
that's
a lot
kind
of
of the look
sense.
he was going for on the Rolling Thunder review.
I love how you take that from the songs and put it into his image.
That's yeah. I mean, I just because I always thought the album cover was very cool.
Yeah,
Dylan has some really cool some of his most iconic albums. Very cool. The person, you know how Dylan photographs himself. You can tell so much about just from the album cover what the music is.
yeah,
You know,
definitely.
um, I like, for example, like just a quick thing on Highway 61 Revisited. You see him kind of like kind of snarking at the
Yeah,
and he could be the character from either like a Rolling Stone or Highway 61 Revisited, where
and John Wesley Harding looks like a group of cowboys and Indians,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
one of those folky, dusty characters that he describes.
Nashville skyline is a total like country looking.
Warm. He definitely looks. Yeah, I like it. It's amazing.
The genius, what could you say? And this to me wraps up the Dylan of the 70s. I got to investigate more Dylan going into the 80s. I lost track of him there, except for the Traveling Wilburys, which was a super group, but I don't know much albums from him. And like I said, in the 80s, Bob
Well, I
Dylan
thought
was,
Desire became a little spotty. Like he had a few good ones, but to be honest with you, he didn't reach the heights of Desire.
and I think, again, not to bring up Rush, Joe, the 80s production
Yeah.
killed a lot of these bands I mean, Desire has the perfect 70s production, analog, an analog sound. You know, Blood on the Tracks, I think, is one of the most, I love the way it's produced. It's analog. You hear that bass going through the board, you know, the way the mics were placed. And then the 80s come and Dylan, I don't think
And he
modern.
no, and he tried to like Neil Young too had this problem. I'm just another example where they tried to match the aesthetic of the 80s. And I think Rush, not to mention Rush again, but they did it well.
Oh, well, Rush did it well because
They
they
did
adapted. Rush
coming
knew
from
that.
progressive 70s analog to
Yeah.
that before Dylan. Now, yes, actually, maybe I'll send you some possible albums that we could listen to, Cheech, to see what you think. They're pretty good in the 80s, but
Yeah, yeah.
for the most
Rush knew how to adapt. Like they adapted to the 80s, to the 90s, to the millennial. They could. I can't think. I mean, there's other bands, yeah, but I can't think of any. Genesis didn't.
no.
Genesis did in the early 80s, definitely. The early 80s.
Oh no, Genesis totally, yeah.
There's that period from 1980, and I always say what with Duke is what 1979, 80, and then whatever came out.
Cab and Invisible Touch and the Genesis self-titled debut self-titled album.
That's all early 80s. But then once
Early 80s would be Duke and Abacab.
okay, after that, they jumped into 80s technology, which you
Total.
can't blame them. It's modern technology, it's new.
And by the way, it scored them one of their top albums and the number one song, Invisible Touch.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's a great, I mean, they
The no,
play Phil Collins in the temple like crazy. And I'm just sitting here going, what a fucking genius this guy was,
I
even
don't
in
know
the
why,
pop
why he
world.
gets.
And then
Oh,
you sent me Nebworth, Genesis at Nebworth. Oh my
oh,
God.
I'm telling you, I'll be honest with you. Like, I know a lot of people, I don't know. And again, I don't know why people hate on Phil Collins. And I'll be honest with you, the 80s Genesis stuff is really good. Now, obviously, again, like Rush, um, Signals is not hemispheres. So, like,
Yeah,
like Duke is not Foxtrot. So,
yeah.
that's an unfair
But see,
comparison.
Rush gets a huge pass because Signals is still like it still kicks ass.
Well, no, but the synthesizer is prominent. It's not like hemispheres where,
Right. But
but I
the
mean, like
songs,
even moving pictures, like it
yeah,
begins that synthesizer line.
yeah, yeah, camera eye and stuff.
But
Yeah,
for them, but they weren't afraid, and I think Phil Collins is a genius because he saw the sign of the times. And by the
I
way,
mean, I'm gonna say even Mike Rutherford. I like Mike and the Mechanics. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you.
Banks musically, I'd be honest with you, like some of the 80s synth lines were made by Banks. Like when
Yeah,
you
yeah. Oh yeah. I
hear
mean,
another genius.
Genesis was great in the '80s. Then a lot of bands cheesed out, like Heart. I think I was a fan of Heart in the '80s, but they Heart had some great songs, like "What About Love." They're great in the '80s, but it's not Barracuda.
You know what was really good, Cheech? I've been loving Van Halen 5150 with Sammy Hagar.
Great album.
It's
So,
I love the incorporation. It kind of it has a fine line where it's heading towards cheese because of the synthesizer,
yeah,
but then it brings it back. Which
Summer Nights is the best song in that album.
yep.
And
Maybe we do our Van Halen reviews, which
yeah, like I call it Van Hagar. It's like it's the Van Hagar era, and then I think after that album, they still put out great songs, but it was a different band.
yeah.
It's kind of like Sabbath with Dio. Not Ozzy, it's Dio. It sounds very different. It sounds completely different. And a lot of bands did that when they got new singers and they got a new sound. But the '80s production changed a lot of bands, not for the good. I think songs were always there. Songs were Heart, Never, What About Love. I love those songs, but they got into the '80s look. They got into the '80s production. The drum sounds were the worst. Oh my
Oh,
God.
a lot of those albums sound to dated now, and that's
Yeah,
actually and it's interesting because this album, Desire, sounds timeless. But
it does.
listen to some of those 80s albums, they sound weak. Like they didn't date.
Or even metal. Like if you go back to like early Motley Crue, you listen to their first album, right? It's pretty much a demo. It's freaking genius.
Yeah.
Shout at the Devil is amazing. It's produced, but yet it's still heavy and rocks. Then comes whatchamacallit, what's the album after Shout at the Devil with Home Sweet Home? Theater of Pain. Then
And yeah,
production kicks in, and it's like Ozzy. I've been really into Jakey Lee and watching a lot of stuff on, poor Jakey Lee got the raw deal, but we won't go into that. But Bark at the Moon kicks ass.
yeah.
It's a Ozzy's, like, probably his last until Zach comes in a little bit later. It's probably his last real hard rock album, and then Zach Wild brought the hard rock
Yeah.
metal back in the late '80s, early '90s. But Ultimate Sin is like complete cheeseball rock. It's cheese metal in the best possible way. I love everything off the Ultimate Sin. I wore that album out, and at first I was like, it doesn't sound like Diary of a Madman, it doesn't sound like, but it's a great album. But again, Ozzy, like Rush, not their fault. They embraced '80s production and the image and the look. Great album, but it's another example. And then forget about the '90s. We're still trying to figure that out, me and Manny.
I know. I mean, it's defined by obviously first of all, a destruction of 80s production. Like you have
Yeah, yeah,
grunge put an axe to all that. Like,
yeah.
and it kind of changed, right? Cheese. And then it evolved into a very strange, like 90s production. I don't even know where to start.
I mean, Roll the
Yeah,
Bones.
matter of fact, and Dylan had a comeback. Maybe we can listen to that comeback album if you want.
Yeah,
Joe, you know that comeback album, Time Out of Mind, I think it's called, the 90s?
I don't know it.
I mean,
I've
maybe
heard of it. I've heard of it. I have not heard it.
it could be, maybe it's considered his return and one of his greatest, right? So maybe we could listen to it, maybe do an episode on that. But anyway, but Dylan hires Cheech, you know him, Daniel Lanois,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hires him because Lanois was instrumental in the 80s and a little bit in the 90s, especially with,
Yeah.
Well, he was huge with you too.
yeah. So Dylan asked Lanois, "Can you? I want you to produce this album, and I want you." So anyway, the point is, like, '90s is all over the place. I don't know, but grunge.
Yo, Joe just brought up a band, and I gotta put my 2 cents on this. Like War, I worship that album. Right?
Wait, as an aside, do you know the band Primus?
I love Primus. Yeah,
Why? Like Les Claypool, right?
yeah, yeah,
By the way, I don't know if I sent you. I forgot that he made the South Park theme song.
yeah. You sent that. I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
Leaders were Primus fans. Now I try to listen to Primus, but it's weird.
It's like Zappa. I know Joe's a huge Primus fan. It's like Zappa
Wait,
meets.
which album do you guys recommend? Because I was trying to.
Mine is Fizzle Fry. I mean, Les Claypool, no one in the world. He kind of changed bass. Like he was doing things on the bass, like Johnny was a race car driver. Like, I mean, you were listening to that as a bass player, going, "Wow, there's Billy Sheehan, there's Stu Ham, but what is this guy doing? He's making it sound like a keyboard or a carnival." Those things when you go around with the horses at an amusement park. It had like a total crazy sound. Uh,
We said Fizzle Fry, and then what about Sailing the Seas of Cheese?
Geez, yep, that's a good one. Wyona's got a big brown beaver. You gotta listen to that song. I mean, their topics about like lyrics were crazy. Very, to me, I thought of Zappa. I don't know about you, Joe. When you first heard Les play and sing,
I have to agree with that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Les Claypool, he's really something. I was so blessed to see him 3 times
yeah,
at the Capitol Theater, and one time it was with the Claypool Lennon Delirium with Sean
yeah,
Lennon, the son of
yeah,
John.
yeah,
And just as a bass player, seeing him up close, it was just like I was so grateful. I was like, wow, I appreciated it so much being right in front of him. And I can't recommend an album, but yeah, I mean, Cheech touched on some of the songs, but like those damn blue collar tweakers is an interesting song.
yeah.
On YouTube, if you can catch out the Pro Shot Woodstock set that they did, but I can't remember if it was 94 or 99. It
I
was a
think it was
beautiful set.
I think it was '94 because that's when Primus blew up. Like,
Yeah.
they blew up and right around grunge. And they're another band that doesn't fit in. They don't fit in. Like
Oh, and they came out like in the 90s?
they came out right when grunge hit, 92. I'll tell you exactly when Fizzle Fry came out. It had to be 1993. I bought the album, I bought a t-shirt, and I remember like I was like, where they're from the Bay Area, so they grew up with Metallica, and Les auditioned for Metallica when Cliff Burton died. And Metallica was just like, no, thank you. You know what I mean? Because there was like, and Les Claypool says the story is so funny, no offense to Les, it wouldn't have worked in Metallica, but the guy's a genius. He played with Government Mule, so like the guy can do anything. The drummer, I forget his name, he's a beast. And Joe saw them do a Farewell to Kings. They did the whole album. So like I have the highest respect in the world for Primus and Les Claypool, one of the great bass players out there, because there's a few bass players out there that nobody in the world, like they're from another universe, like Billy Sheehan, the great bass player, from another universe. Fieldy from Korn. No, nobody sounded like that. Whether you like it or not. Like I love Fieldy. Nobody sounded like that. And I also would put Les Claypool in that as a unique, original bass player. That you got four strings, and you're like, what? Like, how could you make this sound different? And those guys made it sound so different more than anybody. I mean, as great as Geddy is, Geddy Lee's like one of my favorite bass players of all time, and Geezer, but yet they were coming from a tradition of great bass players. Geddy was coming from a Chris Squire influence. Geezer was coming from like a Leo Lyons, who was in 10 Years After influence. John Paul Jones was coming from James Jamerson from Motown, and you heard it. But when you innovate a bass sound like those guys did, it's like, God, you're like, it's like inventing the light bulb, Thomas Edison, like being Tesla, not the car, but the great scientist, so props to those guys. I missed a few. There's a few more out there, but.
It's so funny that Les Claypool went to high school with Kirk Hammett of Metallica. So
Yeah.
they were sitting in the back of the classroom, dreaming about music careers and probably drawing pictures of guitars. It was kind of like the version of the Temple, I think. But you guys, constructing episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Les when he does he's very funky.
Oh, that's another thing. The guy's
very funky.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a great point. And I think Metallica became huge fans of Primus. They might have opened. I seen Primus open for Rush. Could I forget that? Was it Presto or Roll the? I forget. Primus opened for Rush on one of the '90s tours. It might have been I forget which album. But I remember seeing Les Claypool and being like, holy shit, And I was impressed with the drummer, too. That guy's a beast. He quit the band now.
Mm-hmm.
He retired from music, but yeah,
On that note,
yeah, and head to a certain place where dreams are destroyed for 8 hours.
So this has been Bob Dylan's classic Desire. Go out and listen to it.
Yes.
If this is for the viewers out there, if you love what we do, please subscribe, give this video a like. What's your favorite track on the album? What do you think of this album? What's your favorite Bob Dylan album? I think this might conclude the Bob Dylan saga for now.
I think so, yeah.
But this has been great though, and then we'll come up with other ideas for the Cheech and Manny and Joe show.
Oh yeah, well we got the post Led Zeppelin stuff. I'm already working on the Firm's first album, and then we can do Robert Plant, and then I think we should do a show on our favorite concerts that we've seen.
And that could be an ongoing thing because we could talk about because there's a lot. Even me as you guys have a lot that so.
Yeah, you could talk about,
We can talk about maybe one episode started out our first concert
yeah,
official, because mine was like, for example, like Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, no, it's great. But guys, this has been great, a lot of fun. This is
Joe, thank you,
oh,
as
thank you
always,
so
for your
much.
knowledge, amazing knowledge in music, and miss you, Joe.
You guys teach me so much about song interpretation because I get so caught up in listening to the drums or the bass or just the sound of the vocals that I don't uh, I miss often the meaning of the songs and what the songwriter was thinking and how much passion they put into it, how
And,
hard it is to deliver it on stage.
yeah, and I know you got to go really quick. I was thinking about this, like for me, doing this show in the past year, my musical ear is starting to change because I was always focused on the bass, and I would listen to music for the vibe and the feel, and of course listening to bass and drums, and the lyrics would come in. But now, after doing all this research, listening to these songs, writing it down, when I hear music, my ear hears everything.
Yeah.
The story, the lyric. I was listening to a Mariah Carey song at the temple, and I was listening to the story she was singing, and I'm like, why the hell am I doing that? But it's automatic now because I've trained my brain to like listen to lyrics and the stories, and I was never like that before. You know, so oh, there he is, Buzz. Well, I guess
Well, that's the thing. All right, guys, wrap it up.
Buzz wants to go outside. Yeah, I always love when Buzz makes a
Buzz is
special
reminding
appearance.
Manny it's time to go to the temple.
Yeah, yeah, that's sick him, Buzz. You gotta let
Go
it
to
do
the
The
temple.
arm.
sick him. He
But
kind of sounds like somebody at the temple with that growl.
Black dog.
Just kidding,
Oh, man. All right, guys. Till the
All right.
next one. This has been great.
Yep. Great
Really
episode,
enjoyed
and we got a lot more to
it. All
come.
right.
Yes,
All
sir.
Have
right,
a good
guys.
night.
All right. Have a good night,
Have a
guys.
good night, guys.